Good afternoon, friends, followers, channel members. I hope you guys are as excited about this as I am. The NDA is over and finally we can show you the wonderful features of the Fenix A320. Those of you that have been in their Discord server, I know, have seen so many great pictures, videos, things like that. Well, today we get to experience the aircraft live. I'm going to go through lots of things basically here on the ground. I just want to showcase just how detailed the aircraft is, how everything's all set up for the aircraft, and yeah, and then hopefully, of course, we'll get some flying in as well. However, don't fret, because I know that so many people are going to see so many different things that if we don't get sort of like a full flight A to B in or anything like that, I am going to be live again tonight at around 1900 Zulu hours, and then for that flight we are going to be on VATSIM. We are going to be on VATSIM for that. We're going to do a full real ops flight. So if you're not available to stay around and watch everything now, again, we've got another stream coming later. But here she is. She looks glorious in the hangar. She is a joy to fly. She's a joy to operate. And for those of you that are familiar with the channel, when we do real ops flights, then this is going to take things to the next level. Normally at this point at the start of a live stream, I would welcome everyone who's in the chat to the channel. I really can't do that this time. Look at that. How many of you guys are there? We've got over 1,100 people there. Thank you so much for coming on board this afternoon. Presumably from all over the world as well. If you're here in the UK like me, it's right in the middle of the working day, so I'm guessing you guys are throwing a sickie. Right then, guys, let's go and do a little bit of housekeeping, and we'll get this aircraft loaded in. So the first thing I am going to want to do is I want to come and show you that there are a few settings that you're going to have to change for this aircraft. Just before I go any further, no release date as of yet, and it's important to state from the onset that this that I'm showcasing today is a release candidate, so this will not be the final build. It is, however, very close, but there are just one or two things that the team want to go ahead and alter and change. So yeah, this is a release candidate. It's very close, and it's 95. No, it's more than that. It's pretty much there, ready for the release. Let's go ahead first of all and just show you what I mean by the settings. Now, when the aircraft does come on general release, this is one of the things that I think is going to catch quite a few people out. So I use the Thrustmaster TCA side stick and thrust levers, flap controller, etc. from Thrustmaster. If you're used to flying it with the fly-by-wire, which is awesome, then you're going to have to change just one of the settings for the thrust axis, because one of the things we learned very quickly when we first started flying this on the beta team, we were putting our thrust levers up and nothing was happening. So it might be worth making a note of this for the future. If I can... Now, is this going to work? Can I select the input and see which axis this is? Bear with me one second. I need to try and find it. Right, so there is our thrust lever axis, but now let's just come down to power management and see if we can find the throttle for this one. And if we do that to all, need to be able to find where these where the power management is, because it's not the normal axis that you use for power management. I knew this would happen straight away. We can't. I can't find it. So it's thrust levers. Where? Do you know what? Let me search. Do you know what? I can't find where that is. It is going to be written up in the documentation, and so I was hoping to show you that. I will, however, post that in our Discord server once I found it afterwards, because I know you guys are just excited to see the plane. But yeah, you are going to have to change one of the things for that. The other thing I'm going to show you guys as well before we get going is what my graphics settings are, and I'm not going to dwell on them because you can rewind and look at that. But I only run a 1660 GTX on this thing, and it flies absolutely fine. These are the settings that I've got currently at, so there you go. You can see those. A couple of ultras in there, mediums for the most part. A couple of the others are set to high, but with that you can easily expect a good performance with this aircraft. So let's go to Toulouse, shall we? Where better than the Airbus base? We'll set that as our departure. In fact, you know what? Let me choose a proper gate. There we go. Right, so that's all set. Now, of course, I'm going to do this today in the Fenix livery, but we of course have lots of other liveries available right from the start, and you can use, it will be the livery manager. Let me just fire that up so you guys can see this. I'm hoping you've seen on their Discord server as well just what exactly there is available. There are hundreds. They have done an amazing job. Let me bring this in. Okay, so this is the livery manager that will come with the product, and as you can see, there are absolutely loads. You've got old liveries, so the retro liveries. You've obviously got new liveries, and for instance, if I go to EasyJet, which is obviously quite apt for this channel. There you go. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We've got 6 different ones. We've got EasyJet Switzerland, EasyJet Europe, obviously EasyJet UK. We've got some of the older ones in there as well. So you're going to have so much fun. There are so many different liveries already available, and obviously they're not that big. You can see how big they are, about 250, 260 megabytes per livery. So download those as you want. I'm not going to download one now, but obviously it doesn't take very long. The reason I'm not going to download one now is because it puts you straight into the community folder, and obviously we don't want to be tinkering with that whilst we go. Right, let's close that down. But I am, of course, we're showcasing the Fenix today, so let's stick with our Fenix livery. Let's fly. So when we get in, I'm hoping that I've set this up right and everything will be cold and dark. Now, if it's not, we're just going to give it 30 seconds, because every time the aircraft runs, the background program launches, and that's currently launching now on my second screen. So that can obviously be minimized when that's done. I'm now looking around for a drink. I get the feeling I'm going to need a black currant or a nice strong tea for this stream today. But I've been looking forward to this since I knew the NDA was going to be lifted, which wasn't that long ago, to be fair. We had hoped it was going to be over the weekend, but well, as Amir said in the Discord, Friday the 13th really lived up to its name, and things went wrong. As it turns out, actually, there weren't that many things wrong. It was the flight simulator doing some stuff. Did anybody out of interest on Friday the 13th have many more crash to desktops than normal? Because I certainly did. So I don't know if that was something that the Microsoft guys were doing in the background, or whether it was just bad luck. Big Jacko's Gaming, I'm really sorry, mate. It won't be coming to the Xbox. It's far too complicated, and with the background programs that have to run. Now, you're going to find this amusing, but don't worry about this. Just watch this when it loads in. Let's just give it a second till the Fenix appears on screen. Yeah, there you go. Not sure why, but I promise you, this aircraft does come with landing gears. They're not there at this flight announce page, but it does come with comes with landing gears. Let's go ahead, click ready to fly, and there we go. So as you can see at the moment, everything is turned on, but I'm going to give that a second, and we'll have a look. as I say, it's just firing up a state. So now you can see, there you go, all the screens are going down. And what I am going to do as well, when we start firing it up, I'll kill the music, I'll kill my voice, and I'll turn the audio up as well, so you guys can hear. But before we go any further, should we take a look outside? So let me just adjust my drone camera view here, otherwise it's going to zip around far too fast, and we don't want that. So here we go. Oh, what a nice day in Toulouse. We're on live weather as well, I think. So let's have a look at it, shall we? And you'll notice as well, we've spawned in, and look, the jetway has already been connected for you. So that again is just a nice little touch. You're sat in the flight deck. You've the jetway's connected, and it's there. The details on this aircraft are incredible, and so look how dirty she is. And wait until you see the flaps and slats extended. This is not a clean paint, which is great. So clearly it's not just rolled off the Airbus production line across the way. So yeah, let's go for a walk, shall we? Various window shutters, up, down, up, down. There's our registration. But just look at her. And every rivet, screw, bolt, it's all there. Look at the scratches as well underneath. Not clean, not by a long shot. I'll position our camera by the APU when we get that set up as well. So we'll do a little sort of external walk around, and then I know you guys will obviously be excited to see inside. But we have got, you know, this is going to be a quite lengthy stream because I want to show off as much as possible. And as I say, and then we've got a real ops flight tonight, which is going to be very, very exciting on VATSIM as well. Microsoft Flight Simulator, of course, doing this aircraft complete justice. Now, I don't know what the wind is like today. No windmilling. Anyone got the METAR for Toulouse? I haven't checked. It's not been the top of my list. If it was going to be rubbish weather, I'd have just set to normal, to clear skies. But there we go. Tell you what I am going to do. Thank you so much to everyone who is subscribing and liking the stream. I'm just going to kill the alert box just because I know I don't want that to detract from the aircraft. So our Dusty, that's her name. Do you know one of the things that really impressed me the first time I saw this? Look at the windshields. You see how you've got this sort of well, whatever you want to call it, the oil painting in the top right and bottom left, as tempered glass is sort of not tempered, but the tinted glass has its reflections from the sun. I just thought, how neat is that? I haven't seen any detail, any aircraft with as much detail as that. So that is just really nice, really nice. You'll see as well that the ground power unit, because of the state I've got it loaded into, we've loaded it with the GPU already connected. I'm going to turn the volume up as well because you're going to hear the GPU as we walk around it. And funnily enough, the amount of load that the GPU requires even changes the volume that it kicks out. I mean, what kind of detail is that to include in a simulator? but that's amazing. Matty, thank you so much for your €2 donation as well. And to those of you as well who I have missed, I'm so sorry, but thank you so much for your kind contributions to the channel. Right, let me just give you some audio here. Hang on, I'm just going to stop talking for a second and turn the audio up. As well as we do that, I will also kill the music so that doesn't get in the way. Right, here we go. Have a listen to this. So hopefully that was just loud enough. I mean, it's not a loud hum, not by any means, but hopefully you can hear, obviously, as you're walking around, you're getting the sort of stereo effects and things. I don't believe the default GPU in the simulator does give you any sort of noise. So again, that is just a nice little feature to have. Pictures from Amir as well in the Discord in the past have shown you all the details that you've got of the landing gears. Now the lights as well, and I'm going to go through all the different configurations as well as we get on board. But you can change the lights from normal halogens to LEDs, so you can configure your own aircraft. What is also really nice is that, obviously, I showed you the livery manager a bit ago. Well, if you wanted, for example, to have maybe in my community folder, if I wanted in my hangar 2 or 3 different EasyJet liveries, but each one to be slightly different, so one halogen, one LED, one an analog standby, one the digital version, you can set those up, and I'm going to go ahead and show you those. But you can set those up, and then for each livery it is remembered, so it's not airframe specific, it's livery specific. So every time you set a specific livery up, it's saved, which is of course really nice and neat, nice and close to the engines. Right, so should we jump in the flight deck? I'll just pop in there through the pop in there through the jetway. So here we are inside the Fenix. It's first look inside. Do you know, Keith, I knew someone was going to ask, does it have a working toilet? Do you know what? I haven't tried, to be honest. Why would I? So if you're on a lower end spec, as I say, the performance of this is really great. I'm only on the GTX 1660. If you're on a low spec PC, you don't have to have the cabin. The cabin can be turned off once we get into the flight deck, and obviously that just saves a few frame rates. One of the really nice things as well, of course, every window is modelled. So if you in particular have a kind of favourite seat, you can set up custom views for any window you want. If you want to see the wings, things like that. And when this does get released, I will also release the custom view file that I've set up for this aircraft. That'll be available as per usual on our Discord server in the pilot's briefing room. So that is that is it. A wonderful cabin. Funnily enough, I'll go back and check this because I can't remember, but you see the signs over the head, obviously no smoking, which is on by default. I believe that the seatbelt sign also comes on when you turn it on in the cabin. It also in the flight deck, it also comes on here in the cabin. Again, the attention to detail for this has been absolutely phenomenal. Now then, I'm currently not in the cockpit camera, I'm in the drone camera, so I'm not sure if this works. Oh yeah, it does. I can open the door and walk into the cabin. I didn't know if that was going to work if I was in the drone camera, but there we are. So let's take a step in. Welcome to the flight deck of the Fenix A320. I think we should just take a minute to appreciate this. She looks gorgeous. We've got the tablet currently turned on. Be aware, however, is it charging? It probably isn't charging because there's no power to the aircraft at the moment. Let me just go in. If I zoom in, yeah, it's not charging. So we've got 87%. Don't worry, I'm sure it won't die. But you can even, I think, you can have you can remove the charging cable as well. So if we want to go and get ourselves into the cabin, in fact, before we do that, let me just change my drone camera now, so I can actually rotate a little bit quicker. So let's have a quick look behind us, and here are all the circuit breakers. Motasua, welcome to the First Officers Club. Thank you so much for your support of the channel. I hope we'll see you tonight on the Real Ops live stream as well. Yeah, so here are all the circuit breakers, which of course you can see my the hand, the little icon. So we can reset these if we need to. If we know what we're doing, we're going to have to do some reading. But yeah, we can reset these in the event of failures. Of course, if you'd rather fly without failures, that's absolutely possible. We don't have to have failures enabled. Not only that, there's a couple of different level of failures that we can have here in the Fenix. So you can have failures which will allow you to sort of carry on flying, sort of like little minor ones that, I don't know, maybe something's maybe one of the packs has blown, something like that. So you just need to turn that off. Follow the ECAM actions. Descend to the appropriate level, but you can obviously continue flying. It's not a major disaster. Or you can turn on absolutely everything and get bird strikes on departure. It's the level of realism these guys have put in. I'm probably going to run out of times that I say that today. But so we've obviously got circuit breakers there. We've got the top ones here, and then again on the overhead, we've got more of the circuit breakers up here. There we go. Please excuse my drone camera skills, but yeah, there they all are. Right. So, should we try and get ourselves actually in? Let me lift up the armrest. We can obviously do that both for this side and the FO side. And go and get ourselves sat down. Right, let's come out of drone camera mode. So we're now in the just in the normal camera mode. There we are. All right. So, should we have a look first of all at the EFB? I mean, honestly, where to start with this, I've no idea because there is just so many great features. HD asks, do the seat switches work? Do you know, I've not tried them. I don't think so, but it wouldn't surprise me. In fact, where are they? I need to... or are they underneath? These look like the old-fashioned ones. Have we got to release the handle underneath? It's not something I've tried, to be honest with you. Something we can perhaps have a look at. One thing you are all going to go nuts over. Look at this. There you go. You can now sit and eat your dinner in peace. You've got somewhere to put it. That for me is one of the biggest advantages of Airbus over Boeing, because where do Boeing pilots sit and where do they put their sandwiches? They've got nowhere to put them. Let's fold that away for now, shall we? There we are. The window. Okay, so a little bit of airport ambience. Let's hop over to what has affectionately become known as Katie's side. Katie Pilot, I'm sure many of you will be familiar with her. Let's hop over to her side. And I've got live traffic turned on, just so we weren't completely on our own here in the simulator. Let me just see if we can get this open. I need to move a little further. Right, so now we've unlocked it. We should just be able to drag that back. There we go. And there's not too much activity happening here on the apron, but I was sat in London Gatwick the other day on VATSIM, so obviously very busy. The moment you open the window, it's just loud. You can hear all the aircraft, you can hear the vehicles coming through. So it's just again a great way to add a little bit more ambience to the aircraft. In fact, I think I can just hear an APU powering down. One of the things you're going to be aware of, because I know lots of you will do this, and this completely caught me out the first time I did it. When trying to close the window back up, it wouldn't drag. You need to hit the release switch. So that is just there. That should now allow us to close that. There we go, and lock that back in. There we are. So that's the so that's the windows demonstrated for you guys. What else before we head to the flight bag? Okay, so there's the standby compass, all completely modelled and working. And if I just quickly go ahead and check the overhead, you will see that everything's turned off and the external power is available. Roger, can you pop out the displays? Yes, you can. They're not turned on, but yes, you can. So if you are a cockpit builder, then you're going to be able to utilize that. I know a lot of you were very disappointed in the PMDG. They didn't have this option utilized, did they? So I'm sure it will come. But it was it's nice to see that the fly-by-wire, the Fenix, sorry, the Fenix has got this right from the word go. Okay, so then let's have a look then at the CFB. Okay, you can enter your password if anybody knows it, or you can just long press on the finger. We've killed the music. Why isn't that unlocking? That should unlock. Oh, there we go. Yeah, just click on the fingerprint icon and that will unlock for you. Right, the first thing you're going to notice then down at the bottom right says use external device. So if you so wish, you can have the tablet here on an external device, and obviously it gives the information you need to be able to do that. I have tried it, I have tested it, and of course it works. The only thing I did find with this at the moment, and I'm sure this will be fixed perhaps in due course, is that when you are typing away on your external tablet, this isn't linked up to it. So for instance, if you're going through various things, then this isn't linked up to it. But then I guess it doesn't really matter, because if you've got your external tablet, you don't need this one. There is actually a bonus to it, because if you're using your external tablet for, I don't know, maybe Navigraph charts or something like that, but you want to perhaps do your departure brief here, then you've effectively got two tablets. It's like having the first officer's and your own in one go. One of the things I really like about this is that it is so ergonomically designed. It's very Airbus. So everything is where you'd expect it to be. There's a host of different apps and things to confuse us, so it's all fine. I've just realised as well, to showcase the Navigraph off, I'm going to need my phone, because I haven't actually linked this build to Navigraph. So I'll go ahead and do that in a few minutes. Let's have a look at the various apps. So the Fenix app is where we are where we're going to start. So if you have got a flight plan loaded in SimBrief, we can obviously import that there. We'll have a look at doing that in a moment. But let's first of all come to the ground services. So on ground services, as you can see, we've got the GPU all loaded. Chocks and cones, they're downstairs, they're all waiting for us. And then we can toggle the jetway. Obviously, if you're at a stand without a jetway, then you simply just bring on the stairs, the forward stairs just here. So let's go and let's just open up all of the doors. They obviously show on the little aircraft icon. And we can also bring in all of the cargo as well. We're not going to connect the tug at the moment. We can bring the aft stairs. Once we've done that, let me just head back outside and we'll have a quick look, shall we? So there we go. We've got all our stairs open. Now, we've obviously got the ground vehicles from Microsoft Flight Simulator themselves. So things like that you can introduce, because for any that are not modelled within Flight Simulator, the Fenix has got that covered. So, for instance, there's our rear stairs. HT, can you pull the safety straps in the doorway? I have no idea. So there's just so many things to try. I mean, I would guess no, but knowing the level that Fenix have gone to, never say never. Hang on, let me see. I've not got any click spots around there, so I'm guessing not. But one of the things the Fenix team have been very, very keen to make known is that once the product releases, that is not the end. It's going to be continued to be developed all from its release. So don't think that once the product's done, that's it. Let's jump back in. Alright, so obviously you can control all your ground services just here, and of course that be it jetway or the stairs. Let's move on to, I'm going to skip mass and balance for the moment. Let's move on to panel states. So panel states then, this is what I was talking about earlier. So we can choose to load in cold and dark, which is what I've currently got set to default. If you select it, you can either save as default, activate it, cancel, etc. I'll cancel that because we're already cold and dark. With default, we can pop the aircraft into a turnaround state with the APU or turnaround state with the PCA. It's just what you prefer, really. If you are in a rush, then nice just to go and get the turnaround state loaded. Again, it is livery specific, I believe. So as soon as you set that for this livery, it would be different in another livery if that's the kind of thing that you wanted. So sim settings, this is where we can really go in and customize the aircraft. So use airline settings. What the I'm gonna get wrapped over the knuckles for that. What the Fenix team have done is they have spoken to lots of various pilots who know different airlines, the way their aircraft are sort of set up, and you can use different airline settings. So for example, EasyJet have thrust reduction acceleration values of 1,000 feet, but other airlines use maybe 1,500 feet, and they also use engine out acceleration values of 800 feet. So they've gone through, and for a lot of the major airlines, they've actually put all these things and built them in. You can then obviously go in and customize them. So let's go and have a look. So we can have a metric standby altimeter, and of course at the moment I've got integrated, so let me just show you what I mean by that. So that's the integrated standby instrument systems that you're used to seeing. Let me go ahead and change that. And if you want to fly one of the retro aircraft, well, that's probably what you're more used to seeing from some of the older versions of the A320s. I'm going to put that back. I like my modern ones. But yeah, I need to obviously add some power for a few things, but let me go and change that. There we go. Airline modifiable information. Let's go and have a look. So if we're flying one of the newer aircraft, auto TCAS, yellow on the hydraulic steering, ice detection, that is obviously an option that some airlines have, some airlines don't. Turn it on or off. Basically means if you're flying through ice and ice is detected, you'll get a little ECAM warning telling you that you need to pop on your ice, your anti-ice. If that's turned off, then it's down to you to be vigilant. Acceleration height, there you go, so 1,500 feet. I could probably go and set that to 1,000 feet. There's only those two options, 1,500 and 1,000, because they're the two standard. Lateral deviation, having that on as well. Again, if you're used to fly-by-wire, you're used to seeing that by default. Nav in go-around mode. So if you do a go-around, the aircraft will be put into nav mode, meaning you can let the autopilot fly the go-around, because go-around tracks are included in the flight management computer, in the McDo. So I'm going to turn that on. It makes life much easier if we're flying a more modern aircraft. I can see the chat obviously going through, so my apologies if I'm not able to go through and read every one of those and respond to every one of those, but we are going to be doing lots and lots of streams throughout the upcoming few days. As I say, we've got another one coming up tonight, so hopefully we'll be able to answer some more questions then. Into the cabin then, we can turn off that cabin visibility and the cabin lights. That obviously just saves frame rate. So now that's in, there we go. If that's in the drone mode, the cabin has disappeared. What it does mean though as well, if you've no cabin, is it means that you have lost the sort of custom views with little wing portholes and things like that. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pop that back on because I like that. So you've got the option from a control position. Do you want to fly as the captain or do you want to fly as the first officer? I'm used to flying in the left-hand seat, so obviously I'm going to leave it there. The EFIS barrow control, independent or linked. So what this will do, and this is very important, so if it's independent, that means that the altimeter on the captain's side, the first officer's side, and the standby are all linked. So you change one, you change the other. If you've got them set to independent, then only the FCU altimeters will be linked. The standby will not be linked. So independent only separates these two, and the reason for that is because when we were testing it, the kind of level of realism that they've gone to, if you've got them unlinked, then I'd be flying along, I'd set this one to standard, I'd completely forget about the first officers, and then you get an ECAM error message saying that the FCU altimeters disagree, which obviously you don't want that pinging up every time. So as a single pilot, then obviously you just want to have a few things that's going to make life a tad easier. Shall I get that window back open? Yeah, it's a nice sunny day. It's getting warm in here. Let's drag that open. I'll turn up the sound as well, so hopefully that's okay. Right. HC says, surely if they're independent, they won't be linked. I will double check that. We'll fire her up and I'll double check that. There's an easy way to find that. Out, isn't it? I may have got that wrong, but it's important to know that either way, whatever you've got it set to, if you don't have the FCU altimeters set to the same, you are going to get a warning message, like the first time I flew this. We've got auto door simulation, also jetway simulation. As you saw when we loaded in, the jetway was already connected. If you prefer to do it yourself, obviously we can sort that out. Alex, are the blinds simulated on the windows? Ah, you mean, hang on, where are they? Here we go. Indeed, they are. There's another one. Isn't there another one up here? Where's that gone? I thought there was a second one. Oh. There you go. And is there one there? Oh no, I don't think there is on that one. But yeah, let me release that. Oh, it's there, isn't it? Why can't I get to it? Hang on. There's a click spot somewhere. Unless, can you not put it in because the EFB is there? Oh, hang on a minute. I've got to try and remember how you hide the EFB. There we go. Right, that's it. You've got to hide the EFB. Then there you go. The blind can come up. So, let's put that back. The click spot for the EFB is the PA mic, by the way. There we are. Right, so that's the blinds that you were asking about. Let me unlock the tablet again. Just come back here. I think that was it for that page that we were on. Let's have a quick look. Well, that's interesting. Why won't my Fenix app launch? Oh, the Fenix app won't launch after I've hidden it. Let's just try and bring it back. If that is a little bug, I wonder if we can use the. We'll head over to the first officers. Oh, there we go. It's working again. It just had a little moment. Right, so yeah, there's the controls. Radar altimeter callouts. Again, airline specific. Different airlines have different callouts. So 2,500 for the rad alt. That's usually the first one. I think most airlines have that one. That's when it becomes active. So on here we've got 1,000 feet. 500 feet, not bothered about 4, 3, 2, then 100, 50, 40, 30, 20, 10, and if you're going to do a really, really nice smooth landing, then 5. Right, let's go and head to the My Flight page. So, tap to import from SimBrief. I have got a SimBrief flight all set up. Your plan has an off-blocks time in 1 hour 7 minutes. We can either adjust that or we can just leave it as it is. To be fair, an off the block time of 1 hour 7 minutes is probably still too soon, and if we're late for departure, ops are going to be sending you messages on the ACAR system asking why you're late, and you need to get in touch with them and let them know. So yeah, it's all these little things that I keep discovering about it. Let's just dismiss that. Right, so if you've created a SimBrief flight plan and yeah, the time's not quite right, and you're not happy with it, you can yellow click on there. And yeah, just go in and edit what time you want to be departing. So cancel that because I'm happy to leave that where it is. So that's just a flight that's been imported from SimBrief that I've created, obviously from Toulouse up to Manchester. Let's check out the METAR. Alright, so it knows where we're going from. There's the METAR, Cav OK, nice 27 degrees here. There's our QNH. We can check out our arrival METAR as well. So there's the arrival METAR for Manchester, and the alternate, where is the alternate? Birmingham. Now you'll have seen as well, this is quite nice to be able to demonstrate. Thankfully someone is controlling right now in Birmingham, so on VATSIM, if an ATIS is available, you'll see that little button light up, so we can click onto that, and there we go. There is our ATIS at Birmingham at the moment. As you can see, if I go back to Manchester, no one must be on the ground at Manchester, and no one's on the ground here at Toulouse. So we can go back to viewing the METAR. We can also view the forecast as well if you want to see what's happening. To be fair, that will probably become more useful at your arrival. Yeah, so there's our TAF forecast in Manchester. Quite a lot of text there, to be honest. So you can update that as well as and when you need to. Let's have a look at the route page. So there's the route that we're planning to fly today. Should load. There you go. There's the flight route. Little map showing us roughly the track that we'll be taking. And that's it. There's the 3 different pages on our flight, which is quite nice. Right, let's head over to our mass and balance page. So this is really nice. We've got the flight envelope shown as well. All the figures here are shown in live time as well. So that's what it currently is. When we start to board the aircraft, you'll start to see this moving around to make sure you can stay within operational limits. We've got things like the zero fuel weight, the central gravity zero fuel weight, gross weight, and then the final gross weight, the centre of gravity as well. If you're using SimBrief and you've loaded it in, everything is all there and waiting for you. So apparently on our flight plan today there were 120 passengers meant to be boarding. That's our planned cargo, and there is also a SimBrief airframe as well, which I know you'll be really happy to hear. The airframe is obviously tailored to the Fenix aircraft, and I know a few of you, HD especially, the passenger weights are much more realistic than we've seen in the past as well, so really nice to see. One of the things, of course, if you're used to watching the channel as we do real ops flights, we can see that the planned fuel is 6428. Well, that's our planned fuel. We'd always probably look at taking a little bit more. So after looking at the forecast and things like that, if you want to take more, then I can just click there, and we should. There we are. So if we want to take round that up to 7 tons, let's go ahead and do that. That's all set. So that's our planned zero fuel weight, that's our planned gross weight, that's all done. Close that down and we can load the aircraft. You can then choose how you want to load the aircraft. You want to do it instantly, fast time, or real time. I may as well say real time because I think we're going to be here for a while enjoying all the features this has got to offer. So let's just go ahead and set that. Right, there we go. So passengers are boarding. Now keep an eye on the cabin image just here. Look, there we go. Boarding is done automatically. The weight of the aircraft is done automatically as well. And if I'd have set this to fast time, you'd perhaps probably see things changing a little bit quicker. But just keep an eye on the zero fuel weight and all the different percentages and gross weight. You'll see obviously they're slowly starting to increase, which means that the performance envelope here, you'll see our final values. That's going to change. There you go. Just saw that move a little bit as well. So these becomes very important when we're doing our performance calculations. So we're going to go let that do its thing, and I haven't looked for any Easter eggs in this yet, but passenger info list. There you go. Now, if I'm flying EasyJet, I'm not so sure that a business class is going to be viable. Again, that may be something the team look at introducing for the low-cost carriers, removing business jet. But that's obviously quite nice to see. Now, this extra info, perhaps HD as well, real pilots in the chat might be able to actually help us with that. So, is that with child on board, or? I'm not actually sure what those code means. Thankfully, there is going to be a... oh, there you go. That's with infant. So, we've got... Colette Garnett has got an infant on her lap. And what seat they're going to be sat in. I mean, this is just crazy details, isn't it? Absolutely. Oh, we've got a key corporate. Oh, 2 key corporates on as well. So, we best give them a decent flight if we actually manage to get out of here as well. So, let's... WC is probably a wheelchair. That is a good shout, actually. And passenger assistance. Nice to see. Okay, let's come out of that. We're going to leave that loading. Daniel, thank you. Wheelchair on board. Thank you so much. Jason, great detail but added pressure. Yes, indeed. Well, the fact that we've got to depart on time as well, if we were going to do it, is right. What's the maximum takeoff weight on the flight envelope? So the maximum takeoff weight is... can I zoom in any further? It's 73.5 tons. The maximum takeoff weight on the envelope. The maximum landing weight is 64.5 tons. Max zero fuel weight 61 tons. And as I said, there is a sim brief profile which will get released with this aircraft that you guys can obviously all use, because then it's much more accurate. One of the issues with using the default A320 profile on SimBrief is the maximum landing weight for that was much higher than the Fenix airframe, so that caused a few issues. Okay, so that's we've shown you that. We've shown you the ground services, mass and balance. That's fine. Panel status, sim settings. Right. So I'm going to leave that for the time being. And if we now have a look at the pilot brief. Okay, click here to import the latest OFP, and of course, as you can imagine, that just pulls it in seamlessly. Not only though does it pull it in seamlessly, you can jump to the certain sections. So we've obviously got the operational flight plan, jump to the weather brief, which is something that I'm always forever scrolling down trying to find. There it is. Jump to NOTAMs as well. And there, if you want the full checklist, you've got the normal checklist as well. The Fenix user guide is also available, and this is being updated constantly, so you can be able to have a good read of that as well. You get your hands on this aircraft. Unfortunately, I don't know when the release date is, so I actually don't. I'm not keeping that information from you. I don't know when it's going to be released. So yeah, that is just so nice to see, isn't it? Right, so boarding is currently underway. Should we fire her up and enjoy some sounds? Okay, I've got the volume turned up to maximum. So what we're going to do, let's do the full cold and dark. I've got to remember how to do this because we normally do turnarounds. So full cold and dark. Let's check the batteries. If they're below 25.5, I think it is, then you're going to have to let the GPU recharge those for 20 minutes. But we're good. We're fine at the moment, 26.4. So let's get the batteries on. You'll notice you click it. It's not instantaneous. It just takes a while for that second one to come on. There we go. So batteries are on. We can hear a couple of relays clicking in. Standby's coming up. So at this point then, let's connect the external power. So let me know, guys, if you need me to turn down the volume of the aircraft, because I've literally just turned the volume up to full so that you guys can hear everything. I don't want to miss anything. Let me know if it's drowning me out. So let me go and go through the flows here. This is just where I'm very biased with Airbus. The flows for the Airbus is it's just far easier than Boeing. So we'll do the turn on the crew, oxygen supply, ground control, CRV test. There we go. Just wait till we get that little ding right at the end there. That's completed. And then we're going to align the ideas. Then we're set. Take a few minutes. Of course, it's realistic depending on whereabouts in the world you are. It can be quick, it can be slow, depending on how close to the collision. We'll get the nav logo lights on, so those downstairs know that there's someone in the flight deck. There's two positions as well for the nav logo lights, which confused me the first time we did it. So you've basically just got two. You've got 1 and 2. Both are the nav logo lights, but I think it's just if one fails, you back up there as well. We'll get no smoking set to auto. On the emergency lights, and then the APU is obviously not started at the minute. We're currently refueling. I think it looks like refueling is completed. Yeah, as fuel on board is 7 tons, so you would get the refueling message there on the ECAM. But as refueling is completed, we've got the lamps turned on. Obviously, then before we start the APU, we want to do a fire test. Couldn't possibly forget to do the APU and engine fire tests prior to a flight, could we? Let me pop out the EFIS. Here we go. I'm going to turn the volume down for this because this will be quite loud otherwise. There we go. Okay, all good and working, so I'll close that down. Jason, thank you so much for your pound donation. Really, really kind of you. Hope you're enjoying the Phoenix. We've barely scratched the surface. Thank you so much, Jason, for that, and good to see you on the channel again as well. So HD says, when you're doing the fire test, you also want to make sure the master warning button can silence it. Unfortunately, I can't do that because I can't sort of press and hold up here and then silence it down here. I think that's obviously just a sim limitation. If we can ever do something like your controls, we can probably test both at the same time. Willie is correct as well. The FPS slows down when you pop out a second screen, which is quite annoying. I've never been able to fix that. So and that's not just with this aircraft. That is with all aircraft as well. Right. Let's start the APU. I'm going to get that started, and then I'm going to again turn the speakers up to full. You guys can set your own level at home, and I'm going to mute the microphone as well. So before I do that, I'm going to turn the packs off, and that is just company stops. I'm used to having packs off prior to us starting the APU and the APU bleed. So we can't start it straight away. If I start it now, you'll notice that first click, it didn't work. We needed to give it at least, it's usually about 2 or 3 seconds, which again is a nice touch. Right, let's head outside. Okay guys, enjoy that. Yeah, the tick-ticking sound of the igniter, that is new. And I've just got some news for you as well. Whilst we're doing these live streams, we're also in constant touch with the devs as well. So I'm also happy to tell you, I don't know if anybody has asked, but I'm happy to tell you that IAEs and Sharklets will also be coming to the Fenix for free in the future. So that is really nice to know. And I think someone asked about how many liveries there are. There's 181 as well. I've also just been told that if we start the APU during the stream, I wish I'd done this prior to starting the APU, but what we should have also have done is dropped the standby compass. Because there's some electromagnetic interference from the starter which causes the compass to swing around. I mean, come on. That is absolutely insane, isn't it? I almost want to turn the APU off and have a look at it again. We'll do that tonight. We shall do that on tonight's stream. To Sky, can you play the Fenix on a 1650? I'm not sure. I'm on the 1660, so I'm by no means am I on a top aircraft. Top aircraft. I am on a top aircraft. I'm not on a top spec PC, and it's streaming as well. So you know, if I'm not streaming, I can bump up my my sim settings as well. Right. Let's put that away. Yeah, if you want to see that, I will have to do that on tonight's stream, definitely. Right, APU bleed is coming on. I'll give that a minute, then we'll get the packs on as well. Whilst I'm doing this, just a quick check of the normal flows. So we'll get rid of the external power in a minute. All that's done. Seatbelt signs can come on as well. And then at this point, just come back to check in. What was the METAR? And if need be, let's just quickly view the METAR and update that. It might not have a new one, but there we go. Security is 1019. Carter, we'll go back to the cabin in a moment as well. Yes, 1019. Set that. So that's all done. And then just come and check things like the switching panel. This works as well. In the event of a failure, we're going to have to do some. There's going to be so many tutorials we're going to be able to do with this, but you can see switching panel shown there. IRS is obviously just aligned, as you saw the navigation display. It's springing to life. Coming down here, we've got the audio control panel. Everything is turned up as well. You can see floodlights, integrated lighting. That's all turned on. Spoilers, etc. Look at how scuffed this is. This is not a new aircraft. The fact that you've got paint rubbing off the rudder trim as well. It looks disgusting compared to my Thrustmaster set, which is gleaming white. But disgusting is obviously more real life. Transponder set squawking 2000. Yeah, everything is nice. So, is that window still open? Yes, it is. Funnily enough, I can make things sound much quieter because I think the panel, the door's still open. So if we close that and we close the window, it's probably going to get a bit quieter in here. We've obviously got the fans blowing as well. So let me just show you that. I'm going to stop talking and turn the volume up again just for a minute. So obviously, I hope you heard the difference there. And I've not got this window open, have I? No, that's fine. Right, let's just head back into the cabin then and see if we can see those seatbelt signs. As you walk, in fact, tell you what, just listen to this, because this gets me. And I'll do it with the engines running as well in a bit. I'm going to stop talking and I'm literally just going to walk through the cabin. Turn your speakers up. So the sounds obviously change as you walk through the cabin, as they do for the engines as well, which is so nice. Seatbelt signs turned on, obviously works. I knew someone was going to ask me to try and open the emergency exit door, and I knew who it was going to be. Let me get back to the cabin. Sorry, the flight deck. Right, so that's done. We'll just check and set this up here as well. 109. So obviously I'm not doing a real ops flight or anything daft like that. I'm just making sure I've not missed anything that's actually important. So one of the things as well to bear in mind, we've been sat here a while now, fuel's been loaded, APU is running, so we are burning fuel. That's obviously nice to see, something to take into account as well as we go. Right, what else? There's just so much, and we haven't even begun on looking at what we're doing yet. So I think we get packs on. There we go. It's been done for a while. And external power. So let's go and have a look at the window. Two separate boxes, of course. So we've got independent boxes. We can do different things with each one. So if you wanted to obviously control ACARs and stuff like that on the first officer side, while you've got programming, etc. on this side, that's fine. They've made that nice and easy. Let's have a look then. I'll tell you what I am going to do, just because I know you guys want to hear the sounds, and the sounds are impressive, but I'm just going to turn those down a little bit. Don't worry, I'll make sure you don't miss anything. So let's have a look at the different settings in the box, and I'm going to show you how they have got the calibration of thrust levers and flaps and things. So if we go to config and then controls. Now obviously I've already calibrated mine, which is why I've got the clear calibration button there, but I'm going to go through it now and just show you. So if we hit calibrate with the hardware, it then tells you what you need to do. So set the thrust levers to max reverse. So I've now got that to max reverse. We then hit next step. I'm then going to set it to where I want idle reverse. Next step. We're then going to set that to idle, and you just go through clicking next step every time. Set climb, flex MCT, and toga. Once that's done, we'll store the calibration. Now, what you will probably find, or at least I certainly have, and this is again with the Thrustmaster TCA levers, is at the moment obviously you can't see, but with the hardware I've now got that at idle and it's saying I'm actually in idle reverse. Well, what you need to do is with the null zone, if you go and set that to around 0.5 and then just jiggle the thrust levers again. There we go, they're now in the 10. So a lower null zone is much better, particularly on something like the Thrustmaster, because you've got actual physical detents on your hardware. So that's all done. The next thing you're going to have to go and do is also configure the flap lever as well. So back to that menu actually, and we just need to go over to the next page. You can also obviously tinker around with the null zones and things for your side stick. I've not touched any of that, and I've not really had any issues with flying the aircraft, so I'm going to leave that as is. But yeah, so the flaps, we need to calibrate that in exactly the same way as we just did the thrust levers. So I'm going to go calibrate. So just follow the on-screen instructions. Set flaps to up. Flaps 1, 2, 3, and of course full. Once that's done, store the calibration, and then I'm just going to check those work. There we go. Right, so that's all done. Let's have a look what else we got in the menu on the configuration. So data link, you can obviously set up your SimBrief pilot name. You can also do that as well through the app, which runs in the background, which I don't think I've actually shown you, have I? So I will try and show you that tonight if I can remember. I need to double check that they're happy with that, because I don't know if they're going to tinker and change that just before it's released. So, but either way, you can either set it in the background application, or you can obviously set it here in the box. Configuration, then we can set it either via the livery or manual, as I showed you on the EFB. And then aircraft configuration, this is where you can obviously go into a lot more details. So, oh, here you go. This is perhaps a little bit better. So, QNH control, independent, linked, or linked left and right. Linked left and right is the FCU ones. So that keeps the standby separate, which is what we want. Takeoff shift, default baro, hectopascals, of course, here in Europe. Weight, FLS option, TCAS autopilot. So we can obviously go through and set everything that you want and tailor it. You can then store it as default. Look at that, brake fans on or off. At the moment we've got brake fans on. They're available. If we change that, the button disappears. I'm going to put that back to on. You can change the wingtips. Now, has this been modelled? I'm just going to double check that. So let me just jump outside, have a quick look. So wingtip fence, and then back to the sharklet. That may still be to come with a bit more details on that. Wi-Fi antenna, if you're not flying low-cost carriers, that's available. This is what I was talking about with the lights. LED or halogen lights, set your preferred. LED is perhaps better for the modern age, isn't it? We'll leave that as it is. And yeah, just some of the same systems that we got to set up on the EFB. So you can either set them up on the EFB or you can set them up here as well. Okay, we're happy with all of that. The fuel and passengers and cargo, again, you can set things up in here, but the way that the EFB is, I love the EFB. I think the EFB is absolutely beautiful. So I'm going to give a shout out as well to Katie Pilot, who a lot of you will know from the Discord server. She's also on Twitch. She is a type-rated A320 pilot, but not only is she a type-rated A320 pilot, she's also a coder. So she built the EFB. So big shout out to Katie. The fact that she, as well as obviously being able to provide the team with all things real world based, she actually built, designed and programmed the EFB for them as well. So I think what a very talented girl. But fuel, passenger and cargo, we can leave that as it is. Bastion, does the McDo also work on a tablet? Not yet. No. So the EFB does, but the McDo doesn't. Again, I would imagine that's something that's going to come in the future. Right. Oh, do we have to touch these? We'll have a look at them. So, failures. You've got a few different options with failures then. So, you can set a manual failure. Obviously, go in there. We can go through and set, go through the complete list. So, here we go. I don't particularly want to fail any of them whilst we're on the ground. Comms, I don't plan on speaking to anybody. So a stuck mic, activation immediately or random. What else have we got? Hang on, let's just go back into that. So we can have electrical failures as well. And look at the list that we've got here. And I know the real world pilots and HD will be rubbing their hands together thinking, oh, I could have so much fun with this. Yeah, failure management. So you can select from a list of failures and obviously decide when you want those to when you want them to go. But then we've got random failures. So if you want it to be a little bit more realistic, then we can set the failures to either minor. Those are the kind of fails which they're little small niggles. They're not going to stop you flying and getting to your destination, not like your engine failing or engine fire or anything like that. So you can leave those to minor, or you can set to all, in which case then, well, anything goes, doesn't it? Failure rate, of course, realistic or high. Well, obviously realistic means that you're probably not going to have any failures, and if you do, they're going to be very rare, but it also does depend on how many hours you've been flying your aircraft and things like that. Now, realistic basically means you're flying a well-maintained aircraft. If you have a failure rate of high, then good luck to you. You can also trigger a random failure as well, there and then. So if you, I don't know, if you were at 38,000 feet and decided you wanted a little bit of fun, well, do you know what? Just trigger a random failure there. Do you know what? For now, though, I am going to leave that to none and store as default. When we're doing real ops, though, I am going to set that to all and realistic. Right. I think I've pretty much shown you everything on the simulator control page. Let's come and have a look now at the maintenance page. Oh, hang on. I tell you what, I missed the maintenance, didn't I? Right, so if something has gone bang and you've got yourself down, well, your aircraft then needs repairing. So you need to call the mechanic on call. And you can go through and request for maintenance either on the air, the auto flight, and all these different categories. So you basically just get them to come out, have a look, hit the request button, and hopefully they'll get it sorted for you. But yeah, so if you've had a failure, you can then request that the mechanics come and fix it for you. Again, great work. Let's go back now, have a look at the maintenance screen. So failures, this is basically telling you what's gone wrong. So if you have had a failure, then you can select here and it will tell you what has failed. So you're not just relying on the information on the ECAMs, it will tell you what has failed. That isn't obviously realistic, or not to my knowledge. You need to work through the ECAMs and things like that, but for quick reference, it will tell you there exactly what's gone wrong. Ground services, so that's the ability to push, but again you can do those on the flight bag. Same with the doors. So I'll tell you what you can do. We could close all of them, which we'll do shortly. And then a sim rate of normal or twice the speed. We can't go any faster than twice the speed just because of the amount of work that's going on kind of under the bonnet of this thing. It couldn't cope with going any faster than twice the normal sim rate. Nav accuracy upgraded. Right, let me come out of that. Right, before we go to the FMGC, let me show you the Atsu menu. So this is where we communicate with either air traffic control or operations. So ATC menu, and you can send off diversion requests. You can also not just diversions, but of course you can if you're using a Hoppers link on Discord on VATSIM, then you can use the ACARS, because of course ACARS does work, so the DCDU does work indeed. Let's come off of that. Reports, you can send a manual position report back to ops if they request them. The connection notification, so you can that's how you contact various centres on VATSIM if you're flying online. We'll come off there, and now into the AOC menu. Right, so received messages. Let's have a look at this first of all. So we've got a couple of messages here. Number one, there is our final load sheet. I think that's the final one. Let me just double check. Right, so there's our preliminary load sheet. There it is. So that's telling us what we were accepting, or what we were expecting, rather. Barry, thank you so much for your €9.99 super chat. Says needs to go, unfortunately we'll catch the rest of it later. Thanks for getting you hyped. Looking forward to the streams as well. Excellent, Barry. Thank you so much. Really do appreciate that. So, and it's telling you any extra kind of notes and things. So potable water. Let's see what else we've got. Everything's been prepared by Timmy Evans. Fuel in the tanks, 6428. So if we just go ahead and accept that, and then once you've had the preliminary load sheet, of course, you need to make sure that any discrepancies between the two, you've taken into account for. So obviously we went through and did all our weights and things, but we're not doing this as fast as we can. What you need to do once you've got the final load sheet in there, you're going to have to go through and check that the weights and figures you've got here match up with the ones that perhaps you'll have done a performance calculation for. And if they don't, because, well, a passenger's not turned up, they've had to offload bags, things like that, you will have to adjust those accordingly. So just don't take it for granted that your operational flight plan and the weights on here are actually going to be the weights that you have that you've got actually on your aircraft, because as I say, things don't always run to plan. Anthony, thank you so much for your £5 donation as well. And Anthony says, are there exterior options like Wi-Fi and SATCOM drones? Yes, there are. I think I showed that a little bit. I didn't turn them on, but yes, they are there as well. So I think I've accepted that. We're both good. Over here, boarding's completed. We can dismiss that little message as well. Right. AOC menu. So we've done our received messages. Right, the ADC delay. So if we manage to take off today, I'm going to be late. I'm going to be late because I'm showing you guys this aircraft rather than trying to stick to a specific time. And because we'll depart late, I can pretty much guess and guarantee we're going to get an ACARS message from Phoenix Operations, and they're going to say, you've been late by however many minutes, we want to know why. So you have to send them back a message, the ADC delay, and you have to give them a delay code, and they'll want to know, right, you've been delayed for, say, 15, 20, 30 minutes, etc. Why? So you can say, well, 10 minutes was down to ATC, 5 minutes was down to late passengers, and another 5 minutes was due to Gavin talking too much. I don't think there's a delay code in there, and you can find those for that, but the delay allocation card is just here. Yeah, there you go. So you basically enter these in and send it back, and then once they've sent it back, ops are usually quite happy and say, okay, fair enough, we understand. Oh, there you go, that Gavin talking too much, that would be Oscar Tango Hotel other. Right, so we can leave that as well for the moment. If you're going to divert, you need to let ops know as well, so another one there. You can of course request weather. Obviously you've got the tablet, but you can do weather requests as well. So for example, let's see, let's have a look at Copenhagen, shall we? Because why not? At the moment, remember, don't just send this off because you'll get nothing. I've got METAR set to no, I've got TAF set to no. You need to go and click those. So that's yes, yes, send that off, and that should hopefully come through in a little bit. Wrong side simulations. Does it come with the MELs, CDL and AOM with the failures and differentials? Those manuals would be useful for performance and burn penalties. Sorry, you're a dispatcher. Right, wrong side simulations. They are working on what they've called a QRH at the moment. So it will be coming with documentation. Stuff like minimum equipment lists and things like that, I'm not sure just yet. But, you know, the guys on the Fenix Discord, they're probably the best people to ask for stuff like that. But if they're not 100% sure, then they obviously won't be able to give an answer there and then. But they're striving for ultimate realism, and they're starting from a very, very good place, aren't they? Right, Mike Spaceman, yeah, you can send those messages to the DCDU. That's this all works exactly as you would expect it to. So that's fine. Oh right, we've got a message that's come through. Have we got an ECAM message up here as well? Oh, we've not. There's no message waiting just there. When ops send you a message though, that is up there. You can't miss that one. So let's have a click. Oh, there you go. And that's the current METAR, and that's the TAF. So working as advertised, so to speak. And then arrival message obviously not available on the ground. Okay, so all that's done. This is the bit that those of you who have been flying either the default or the fly-by-wire will probably be familiar with. So we'll check. We've got our 3 nav greens, aircraft status. We need to check, of course, that we've got the correct engines, CFM engines, and valid AIRAC cycle. The AIRAC cycle, if you have a Navigraph subscription, you can download and, of course, use Navigraph data for that. Alex, does it have a printer? Well, it has one, but it must have run out of paper because at the moment that doesn't work. So what I would recommend is I do all my communications on the first officer's side, and then things like the METAR and things, if I've got that over here, for example, so I could go back to the AOC menu on this side, check the weather messages. Are they in received messages, aren't they? Yeah. So there. Now I've got the METAR over here, and so I could enter it into the performance page as and when I'm flying. So there we go. Right, Lawrence DK. What about wing views? Sorry, I'm trying to keep up with the chat as much as I can, but obviously, as you can appreciate, I want to try and show off this aircraft. But wing views, you can set them up, custom wing views. You can either set them up yourself, or once this aircraft is released, you can have these wing views. I'll make these available for you in our Discord server, so you can get those. But yeah, she's beautiful, isn't she? Really nice. Okay, let me just come back down here. So we've checked 3 nav green, we've got the right data, we've got the aircraft, we've got the right database in as well. Let's hit the init page. So init request, and as I'm doing this, let me come and get the pilot brief up. Here we go. Right, so what do we need to enter in? We have got the alternate in there, we've got the route in there, the flight number today, Fenix 320, of course. Cost index of 18. And a cruise flight level for this flight. Flight level 380 minus 59. Okay, and we've also got the aircraft's flight plan has been sent to us as well, so that should be waiting for us on our flight plan page. Someone asked a little bit earlier about the winds. Well, we just do a wind request. Give that 10 seconds or so. There it is. And yeah, it's all done. All of your winds for your entire flight have been sent. So there's your climb wind, descent wind, etc. Alright, we'll clear that off. Right, onto the flight plan then. So, departing from 3-2 left on the Laku 5 Quebec. Now, what I haven't done is gone into great details with this flight plan, or even checked that these are the correct departures. So I'm purely relying on SimBrief here for the for the aficionados. Don't scold me too much. If SimBrief is good, then we're right as well. HD says 3-2 left with those winds. No, 3-2 left purely because I'm lazy and didn't set up a flight plan correctly. But there we go. Right, so that's those put in, and arrival is 2-3 right at Manchester, Dane 2 Alpha. Yeah. Dane 2 Alpha. And the veer then, we can either go via Mike Charlie Tango, fly the full procedure, or no veer. And insert. 652 miles, 648 miles, 4 miles out, absolutely nothing wrong with that. So, there we go, departure 3-2 left and arrival 2-3 right. Now, on the RadNav page, I normally pop in at this point, bring up the chart and have a look for VOR stuff, but guess what? We have auto-tuning now. So what the real Airbus does is it automatically tunes to the nearest VORs. So obviously we can go in and edit it if we wish, but I see no reason to for today. So the Toulouse VOR is already automatically tuned, and we can just flick that on and it's showing. So you'll see as we fly along that this will change and it will just automatically tune to the nearest VORs. So again, another time saver as per the real world. Okay, so let's now come to our Init B page, and I'm just going to go back to our received messages for this. Let me see if I can just get a better view for this. Right, so the final load sheet at 13:15. So we've got the final load is a 0 fuel weight of 553.0, so 55.3. The final 0 fuel weight C of G, is that going to be given to us here? Is it on the oh, there it is. It's 31. We don't need to enter in the trip winds because we've already got our winds downloaded, so no more entering trip winds. That's already done for us. We can obviously hit the fuel planning button, see what the aircraft decides. That'll just give it 30 seconds or so to do that, but obviously we're taking a little bit more fuel than is required, so we can go and override that. So we're not going to confirm the block fuel because we've got 6.9 tons on there. What did I put into the 0 fuel weight CFG just there? Oh yeah, that's not right. Good spot, guys, thank you. That's better. So fuel is 6.9 tons. And then we'll have a look at the fuel for the alternate, which is on here. Call that 1.1. Being conservative. And that gives us an extra 10 minutes of flight time. Right, we've now got our takeoff weight and we've got our landing rate. So a couple of questions I've just seen that have been asked, and we answered a bit ago. But yes, you can pop out the screens. The FPS, what's the FPS like? I would say the FPS in this is very similar, if not a little bit better than fly-by-wire. But of course, everyone has a different setup, don't they? Hillfinger81, thank you so much for your €1 super chat. My apologies for missing that a little bit earlier on. Really, really kind of you. Thank you so much for your support. Yeah, so I have my FPS limited anyway to about 30 FPS just to keep the load down as much as I can. Obviously, I'm streaming as well, but obviously, if I'm not streaming, we can go higher than that, and we can also turn graphics settings up as well. But yeah, very, very similar to fly-by-wire. Let's now go to our performance page, and this is where we're going to check out the amazing performance calculator written by Katie Pilot. British, what liveries will be included in the launch? I don't know if there's a list, but there are 181 liveries available that you'll be able to download. Okay, so you can either go in and set all this obviously manually, or you can sync the final load sheet that operations have given you. I think it's just easy to press that. You can go for ultra realism and flick between the two and work those out. So I've synced that final load sheet. I am departing, however, because on 3-2, is it 3-2 right I'm departing on? I hope so, it's closer. Let me just have a quick check. Oh, 3-2 left here. Oh, right, okay. Well, we get to enjoy the taxiing for a little longer. 3-2 left it is. And then, runway surface, the options are just dry and wet. It's not gone into contaminated and all that. Of course it is contaminated, then you can just set toga, and that'll be realistic enough. So we can leave that set to dry. Flap config you can either leave as optimal, forced toga, anti-ice, packs, takeoff weight, CFG is all sorted, and we can now get the live weather. So that's all done. Let me just check that flight plan. I'm confusing myself here. 3-2 left, yeah. 3-2 left, and just checking the flight plan that I've got from SimBrief is also 3-2 left. Yeah, definitely departing 3-2 left. Right, so we've got the live weather sorted. We've synced our final load sheet. Now, let's have a look at the Navigraph charts. Obviously, we can use the charts on the tablet, which I am going to do and show you in a little while. But let me just bring up the charts here, because have we got takeoff minimum? There we go. So right, so 3-2 left is just here. If we took off from Mach 2, that is full length. Mach 4 is an intersection departure. Well, this is really nice because obviously in the fly-by-wire we're having to look at the chart and work out what is the intersection departure. So intersection departure is Mach 4, and that is a distance of 3-2 left. Right, Mach 4 is 2805. Well, we can select intersection data. There's Mach 4, 2805, it's there. All the intersection stuff is done there for you. So we've got full length, we can do Mach 4, we can do Sierra 4. So let's plan for Mach 4, shall we? And that will now calculate. So there are our speeds. 132, 132, V2 is 135. Thrust reduction, acceleration is 1500. Now that's interesting. How high is the airfield elevation? Oh yeah, spot on then. 1000 feet AGL. So we've got Flaps 1. It does give you the trimmable horizontal stabilizer as well, should you wish to input that. Not all airlines do, in fact quite a few don't, because it can get confusing. And we've obviously got flex temp as well. So let's go ahead and put those all in. I guess if you wanted to be a little bit more simplistic, being a sim pilot, if there was a button that just said sort of transfer this to the McDo, that would be great. But no, we're going to stick with it being realistic, of course. I think the CRJ has that option, to be honest, which was a nice little feature for a sim pilot. But we don't mind. This is all about keeping it real, isn't it? So 132, 132, 135 on the perf page. 132, 132, 135. It's not got a transition altitude in there for us. Let's just grab the transition altitude here off the chart. 5,000 feet. That's already in. 5,000 feet. And flaps 1. I'm going to leave the THS blank. And flex 68. HD transition altitude is always meant on performance page of the EFB as it changes depending on where you are. Excellent. So another thing that is true to life. Alright, so that's all set. There's one thing left to do, and I haven't done it yet because I wanted to save it to the end, and that is now, at this stage, what I'd normally say is we'd do our brief. So we'd talk about the weather, we'd talk about whether we can get back in, what our takeoff weight is, what our V-speeds are. We'd also then pre-plan the taxi, where we're going to go. Well, what about the emergency brief? So we'd normally have an emergency brief that tells people that you know, if we've got an issue on the ground, we'll stop the aircraft, inform ATC, run ECAM actions, etc., etc. Hopefully carry on or head back to the stand with ATC assistance. Failure before V1, or failure before 100 knots, we'll consider stopping after V1. Then we're committed to getting it into the air. And then I would talk about the engine out procedure. Well, the engine out procedure, every airline has them, and they are usually airline specific. Obviously the SOPs I follow tend to be closely mirrored to what EasyJet follows. So we would then have what I would normally do in the fly-by-wire is I go to the fixes page. I would enter in what our engine out holding point would be and what the procedure is. Now, in order to find that out, I am just going to bring up SimSmart for Lima Fox Bravo Oscar. You can't use SimSmart for the Fenix, and well, why would you? Everything's built in on the tablet that you've just seen. But just to get the engine out procedure for runway 32 left, we'll just grab a quick METAR. We can't grab a METAR because the winds are variable. So let's just put in. Just put in some information here. 28 degrees. Is it actually 28 degrees in Bordeaux today? Wow. QNH is 1019. This doesn't have to be accurate, of course. In fact, all I'm after is the engine out procedure. So there we go. So here is our engine out procedure for departing runway 32, which is standard, which means we can fly straight out. We don't need to worry about turning to avoid terrain. So then at 2,000 feet, we're going to make a right turn to the Tango Oscar Echo NDB holding point, and then the inbound course for that is 258 left turns. Why is that important? Well, let me show you. So now what we can do is we can go to our secondary flight plan. We can copy the active flight plan. There we go. And then what I'm going to pop in here, and where we put it in probably doesn't matter too much, but probably after 322. Bear in mind it's standard, so we could, if we wanted to, just pull heading, so it wouldn't matter. What we can do is after 322, I'm going to pop in the Tango Oscar Echo NDB. There it is, 16 miles away. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell it to program a hold. So we've got all the information here. The inbound course is 258 left turns. Left turns there. Okay, so now if we have a look on our navigation display, our secondary flight plan is showing us the engine out procedure for if we needed to activate it, which means that if we did have a problem and we needed to follow that procedure, instead of sort of having to go direct to or anything like that, I could just activate the secondary flight plan, and then I can go direct to tow. The hold is already programmed in, and so it's there. To complete that, what we can do as well is here we can then also enter in the new destination, which would basically be back here and stuff like that. So what are we at? Lima Fox Bravo Oscar, and that then should pop that in as well. We've got discontinuity, can clean that up, and there we are. The hold's disappeared though after doing that. Let me just pop that hold back in. 258 left turns. There we are. So we can spend as much time on that hold as we want while we figure out what the problem is, and then we're set up to return back. I could also put in the arrival informations in the ILS and stuff like that, but that's for real ops. Well, I'll leave that there. I just wanted to demonstrate that obviously the secondary flight plan function is there, and why you would use it on departure. Okay, so with that, I think, are we about ready to go? Should we go somewhere? Should we push back and start some engines and have a listen? For those of you wondering about payment methods, I know the mods have also been helping me around with that. I just want to say that when the aircraft's being released, there will be a couple of options. So PayPal will be accepted, and credit debit cards as well for the purchase will also be accepted. They'll just go through PayPal. You do not need a PayPal account or anything like that. PayPal will just be the money handler at the start. But the team are also looking at new ways as well. After the aircraft's been released, so I just needed to get that in there, that both PayPal and cards are going to be available for purchase when this is released. So thanks to the mods as well for answering those questions. Okay, let's get that back into ARC mode and set to 20 miles. Right, let me come over here and we're going to go and close all of the doors, get the jetway back as well. So, ground services. Oh, that's my mistake. Of course, boarding was completed, so it disconnects the jetway anyway. So, sorry about that. Let me tell the jetway to go away. APU's up and running, burning fuel. External power is off, so we can get rid of the GPU. We can remove the chocks and cones. We can close all the doors. And I don't know if you can hear that, it's just gone a little bit quieter as all the doors have got closed. Remove the aft stairs. So, quick check outside and see if we're good to go. There's that beautiful APU sound as well. Right, before we go, I need to know where we're taxiing. So, you'll just have to bear with me 1 minute, because prior to doing this, I hadn't linked my Navigraph up. So let me just... oh, I had! Oh, well, that's okay. Right, let's have a look at Navigraph then. So we can import the route. That's done. And from there then, we can click on the appropriate charts. We want the ground chart. Which one will it be? Parking stands, is it this one? Yeah, so that one. And then the airport chart as well. And of course, we've got a little triangle showing us where we are. Now you're going to like this when on VATSIM or something like that. So we're going to push back, and if VATSIM are telling you where to go, we'll taxi via Tango November 4, cross runway 32 right, hold Mike 4. So we'll go to Tango. Why aren't you working? Should be working. There we are. And there's our taxi room. Okay, so that a little bit superfluous. That was kind of an easy, straightforward taxi. But I tell you where this comes into its own. When I'm doing the arrival briefing and I want to know where I want to be expected to be green dot, where I want to pull flaps 1, flaps 2, etc., writing it on the approach chart is brilliant. Because I can quickly look at the approach chart, see where we are, and know exactly how I'm doing with my profile and the plan that I've got as well. So that's all set up. And you can change colours as well. Yeah, okay. You can obviously erase. You can change the thickness of the pencil as well. So big dot there. You can scribble on ATC frequencies. So it's yeah, it's nice. Now Mark asks, does it keep it there if you change the chart? I'm almost certain that it did previously, but I'm just going to double check this. Let me just see. No, so it's gone, and unless I've got that wrong, I thought it did. So I will have a word with the dev and see if they've got any plans to implement that. But either way, once I'm on the arrival page, I've just got the arrival chart on there, and that's pretty much all I need to know when we're going. Right, have I missed anything? I'm quickly running through a checklist to see. So cockpit preparation is completed. Our signs are on and auto. Ideas, we've got 3 now green. That fuel quantity is 6890 and balanced. We've obviously burnt more fuel on the left hand side because that's where the APUs come from. The FMGS is all set. Altimeter is 1019, and I'm now going to use the toolbar pushback to get us all pushed. Is the cabin door closed? Nope, let's close that. There we are, cabin door is closed, and we'll lock that as well. Okay, let me call toolbar pushback. That sound you may be able to hear is not the PTU, that's First Officer George. We've not actually set up the FCU with our departure, have we? So, initial climb is flight level 70. Good job I'm not doing real ops. Thanks guys, that's what you're here for. Right, so flight level 70 is all set. Let's pre-plan. I can see someone asking about the wipers and the rain. I will showcase those. I can showcase that once we're airborne a little bit. We'll have a play with the weather, shall we? Okay, so that's all done. So tell the cabin crew we're about to go. We'll turn on our beacon light. So beacon light is on, IQ pressure is in the green, transponder is set, And we'll request our push. Before start checklist below the line, windows and doors are closed and armed.
To ground. This is ground.
As indicated by the slide. Beacon light is on, phone's on silent, parking brake is set. Daniel, do the wipers actually wipe the water off? They indeed do. The pushback tool that I'm using is toolbar pushback, so that is not Fenix default, that is an add-on, which is a really cool add-on. I like that. Rise event, no passenger sounds, or certainly not that I've noticed. So we're going, guys.
Okay, sir. The bypass pin is installed. All doors and hatches closed and all ground equipment is removed. We are cleared for start and push. Okay, cleared for push start. Please release parking brake.
Okay, so we're good to go. Let me release that parking brake.
Parking brakes are released. Commencing pushback. You can start the engines in sequence. It will start in the sequence.
Paranoia check, APU bleed is on. Engine mode selector to start, and starting engine 1. Let's go outside, shall we? Okay guys, so I'm going to go in the cabin and let's hear a wing view and we'll start engine number 2. So...
Ground, please cancel pushback operation.
Not quite sure if my
Roger, pushback cancelled.
Although that's done, that's all fine. Let me set the parking brakes. Okay, we're going to start engine number 2. Just having a look, I've got the same issue with my starter switch there. I know why that is. It's because I've not changed it since Sim Update 9. So just ignore that. Let's get in the cabin and have a listen. So hopefully, guys, you all you may have had to turn your speakers down for that. My apologies if that is the case, but I wanted you to be able to hear them as loud as you wanted. Right, so engine number 1, engine number 2 is all done. Let's get the APU bleed off. Don't need anti-ice for our departure today. So we're now going to go ahead and arm the spoilers. Rudder trim, flaps 1. Oh, flaps 1. Do you know what? Shall I do that again? 1 second. Let me do the flaps again. So hopefully you could hear those. You're probably not going to hear them too much inside, but I bet outside you can hear them a little bit more as well. So that's all done. Let me just do a flight control test. This is rather neat as well. You'll notice that as I'm doing that, only 4 of the spoilers are active as they should be. And again, if I can just nip to the view, there we go. Can see those. Right, so flight control test is all done. So then we would ding the cabin, although I don't know if you have to actually do that. I think it's done automatically for you. Yeah, so the cabin's ready. They've told you that they're ready. That's fine. We can get the weather radar on. Now, of course, speaking of the weather radar does not work because Microsoft Flight Simulator limitations, that's not yet opened. But as soon as they open that post-sim update 10, obviously the Fenix team said that that will absolutely be included as soon as they can get on with that. However, you will be pleased to see that the terrain radar does work. Not much terrain here in Toulouse, but if you were coming into Innsbruck, that's potentially a lifesaver. So yeah, your terrain radar does work. So I'm going to leave that on for now. After start checklist, then I didn't finish because I haven't set the trim. Let me go ahead and set that. I got distracted by the flap sounds, didn't I? So trim is 29.2 as shown just here. Let's go ahead and set that. There we are. Beautiful. Right, let's get rolling, shall we? So we'll release that parking brake. I need to work out just exactly where I am taxiing, make sure we don't take a wrong turn. And of course, if I want to be completely accurate as to where I am. So you'll notice that the little figure doesn't work on these ground charts. It only works on the airport charts. So we're going to go right to the end of this taxiway, then take November 4. Through this taxi, then, I'm going to be quiet, and I'm going to turn those sounds up once more for you. So you may want to turn your speakers down. Okay, guys. So I think we're about ready to go. I'm going to get the lights on. Then we will turn the packs off as well. TCAS, of course, works. Right, let's get ourselves lined up on this runway. I'm going to attempt to do the takeoff and get those engines rolled up from. I'm going to try and show you as many views as possible. So I apologise now if we end up going off the runway while I try and steer it from the various different views. The tiller axis. So I think since Sim Update now, a tiller axis is available. So if you do want to use that, then yes. Let's double check. We're going to cross runway 32 right, and then we'll get ourselves across where those belugas are. Okay, so I'm going to raise the thrust. I've got the cabin bird on. I'll have a good listen. I'm going to jump in the cabin as well, so you can have a good listen as well. Then I'm going to jump in the front bird, so hopefully we won't be putting the brakes. I'm going to shut up, enjoy these sounds. guys? Did you enjoy that? How many people's houses rumbled at that point? Right, just have a look. There's a little warning I was telling you about. So we've got standard pressure here on the captain's side, nav barrel reference discrepancy. So we just need to do a cross check. Set that to standard as well. Of course, there's our level off showing on the navigation display. My iPad speakers stopped working. Better than Tolis. It's yeah, it's amazing. Ears are ringing. Wow, very nice. Sounds were great. Excellent. Right, so we've just passed 10,000 feet. Our lights are already off. So we're going to come down to the progress page. We'll check. So cruise level flight 80, 360 is the optimum, 395 is the max. We'll set the optimum for the time being. Obviously we're not bound by any ATC restrictions. So we're in nav mode at the moment, or rather we're in managed mode. I can pull into open climb, and this just works. Okay, it just works exactly as you would expect with all the systems. So there we've just seen. I think we've just had have we had a VOR change there? There we go, to Alpha Golf November. So it's now just tracking the closest VOR that it can pick up. Again, as per the real aircraft. HD, you want to see cost index of 0 in the climb? Go on then. So let's go ahead and set a cost index of 0. And there you go. It starts to reduce the speed. Way to do that, of course, is to pitch up. So cost index is fully modelled as well. The reverse is also true. So if we're in a hurry, let's set a higher cost index of 80. And what you'd see now is we would speed up, but we'd trade off climb performance. So there you go, look at that. It's now going to target a much higher speed, so we're going to trade off our climb performance. Remove the seatbelt signs. It's so exciting, isn't it, guys? It really, really is. It's amazing, this aircraft. I think all screens are turned up to full brightness as well, so I think Microsoft Flight Simulator is doing its thing. When you're obviously looking out the window, it gives you a bit of glare. What I don't know is if we bring the visors down, does that help at all? Do you know what? I think it does. We get rid of that. Right, keep an eye on the screens, the top EFIS navigation primary flight display. See how they look now. If I now get rid of this blind, do they become a little bit more washed out with the glare? Yes, they do. Did you see that? Genuine excitement here on the channel. That is fantastic. That is amazing. Just listen to the growl on that. Okay, a few people wanted to see the windscreen wipers. Can we grab some rain then at 20,000 feet? Let's see how we do then, shall we? So turn off live weather. We're going to have a little bit of shaking, of course, and that's as the winds change. Let me see if I can throw some rain in. I'm going to have to raise the altitude of the clouds. It's not always as easy, is it, as that in Microsoft Flight Simulator. Try and get rain involved. Let's see what we can do. It's not raining. I want it to rain. It's not raining. It's probably raining nearer the ground, isn't it? What I should have done is tried this on the ground. It would have been easy to do. Just turn on the rain. I've got. Let's have a look. Precipitation's there. Too high. What are we at now? 21,000 feet. What you can see, if I zoom in a little bit, see if you can just see. Can you see on the stream? It depends on the quality of the stream. Can you see the lines where the wipers have scraped bugs and other contaminants? You can hopefully see that. I tell you what, I don't know if it's modelled. If you use the wipers and the windshield is dry, it'll scratch it and wreck it. There you go. I think now you can see the attention to detail on the screen. Okay, I'm going to come back and set live weather because that's what our flight plan's all for, isn't it? And someone said it's raining in Manchester, so... Well, actually, I think you can see those marks a little easier now against the blue sky, can't you? Yeah, hopefully you can see that. Paul, how's the FPS now? FPS is great. As I say, I lock mine to 30 FPS anyway. Bear in mind, I'm only running a 1660, so yeah. So guys, what do we think? Has it been worth all the hype, do you reckon? I hope I know the answer to this. So far, you've seen a demonstration of everything on the ground. You've obviously now witnessed setting up a flight, taking off, the sounds, absolutely the sounds. What do we think? Do we like it? Do we like the Fenix A320? All we've got to do now is see how she handles on landing. I have found it to be a little bit different to the Neo. So it's going to be interesting coming into Manchester. Right guys, what I need to do, I need you to excuse me for 2 or 3 minutes just while I check some real life stuff. Basically, who's picking the kids up from school? Because I hope it's not me. I'll be back in about 5-6 minutes. In the meantime, and enjoy, guys, enjoy. Alrighty guys, so back with you. Turns out I'm not picking the kids up today, so that's good. Let's get back in the flight deck. Okay, so we're about 500 feet to go. We're going to level off then at our flight level 360. Critic, did I go and check if the toilet was working or not? No, I didn't actually. Mac Alt Star should see Alt Cruise. No, we won't see Alt Cruise because we're going to leave this at flight level 360. I want flight level 380. So the optimum is 37. Can't fly that, however. So what we're going to do is we're going to try and use ACARS to request a higher flight level. We're currently flight level 36, as I say. We're going to request flight level 38. Now, one of the Fenix devs has kindly logged on to the Hoppy service for ACARS, so to give us a little demonstration. So let me just see if we'll just turn that up. Now, I've got to remember how to do this because it's a tad different to fly-by-wire, of course. So we're going to go to the Atsu. AOC. Right, ATC request. No, it's not in that one. Oh, where is it? No, it's not the arrival message. I can't actually remember where it is for this. Let's start again. Atsu. It's not in the weather. It's not in diversion. It's not in the flight in it. I saw it earlier. It's not oceanic or pre-departure clearance. It's not the ADC delay. Oh, can anyone remember where it was? I can't remember where it was. Is it on the ATC com? No. I honestly can't remember. So that's our weather request. Not there. Oh, it might be the AOC diversion. There we go. Right. So let me have a look. So the code that they're using to test this out today is Fenix controller FNX CTR and enter free text, so we shall request. I can't even see because of the sun. So let's just, there was a button there, wasn't there, to transfer to the ACARS system. I'm not actually sure if this is right, but let's send it off and see if that goes. Because it's definitely not on the pre-departure, is it? And it's most certainly not oceanic. The DCDU does work. I've seen it. Because I'm going to guess, I don't think I don't think that message will have gone. So I've just messaged the devs just to see how that's done. We'll let them come back to us, and then we'll try again. So, although we're not at our actual cruise level yet, yeah, at the moment AC com looks up, or it's certainly not working for us at the moment. But I have used it prior to. Oh, hang on, Phoenix operations. Oh, hang on. No, that's wrong. That's wrong. So ignore that. We'll do that properly. Hopefully in a minute. So what we need to do is get out of the Atsu on both CDUs. Oh, I wonder if it's right. Hang on. Get out of the Atsu on both CDUs, then get into the Atsu and log on to CDPET. Right. So let's try. ATC menu, request. There it is. So we need to basically, right, in order to do it, you can't be in the Atsu menu on both McDo's. You need to just be on the one. So request flight level 380. Now, we need to log into the CPDLC, don't we? Do we do that? Here, connection. Notification. Notify the center. That was Fenix FNX. CTR. Right, let's notify them. So they've been notified at 1431 Zulu. And I believe, do they need to accept before we can send that request off? I can't recall if that's the case. Oh, there we go. Logon has been accepted. Fantastic. So if we now come back, we can send that request. Flight level 380. Close the ATC message sound because that's very annoying. And transfer that to the DCDU. Request flight level 380. Send. Sending. Received by air traffic control, so we'll let them sort that out. And then hopefully we can get up to our climb altitude. We'll see that we've got a company message as well. So I'll just wait until we hear back from the Fenix controller, and then we'll go into the menu and have a little look at what that could be. Going to bring the flight plan back up, and we'll check out what the oh no, that's Navigraph. What our fuel should be. So we took 7 tons, which is about 700 kilograms extra, and we are just passing to par. So if we've got around 4.7 tons, there comes the ATC again, 4.7 tons, we've got 5 tons, that's awesome. So clean that. Next message. Yeah, there we go. Climb to flight level 380. We'll go. And send. Awesome. So that is how you're going to use the ACAR systems and the data link to CPDLC when flying on VATSIM. Big thanks to the Fenix team and the Fenix controller at the other end of that for being there to allow us to showcase that. Once that's all done, we can close those messages down as well, so we're not confusing ourselves. We can also recall the last message. You just saw me do that. So if I've closed it down, we can recall it back. Right, so we had a company message. Anyway, let's get up to flight level 380. I'll just pop that in open climb. Thrust climb, open climb 380. Let's have a look at what that company message could be. So go back to our Atsu AOC, received messages. So Fenix operations. This is different. There's a report as well. I pressed that one too many times. I meant to just close that. So from Fenix operations, here we go. Right, we were 5 minutes late. Looking at that. Let me go through and close these. So there's the Fenix report, and look at that. It's telling them where we are, what our heading is, what our track is, what our current VS speed is. That's amazing. So we now need to go and have a look and see why we were 5 minutes late. So send ADC for 5 minutes. We need to come over here, use the delay allocation card. Right, why were we late? Operational delays, incorrect departure time, refueling, defueling, delay of inbound flight, incorrect departure time. I like this one, look at that. Simulator restart, they've thought of everything. That's amazing. Where's the one that says unruly passenger? It's not in there. Right, so let's just put in incorrect departure time, which is ODI. So we need to respond to that. So for 5 minutes, and send that off. Keep flight ops happy. And there we are, out cruise. Another company message just there, or is that the same one? I wouldn't have thought it was the same one. Let's just have a quick look. Oh no, that's a new one. Oh, ATC has been received. There we go. They'll leave us alone now. We've told them why we were late. So JM Aviation asked a good question. So the CPDLC, you need a controller online. Obviously, Fenix, one of the Fenix devs is currently connected to the Hopper network as a Fenix controller. So as we're showcasing this here today, you guys can all see that working. That only works when someone's online and with the and when you're flying on VATSIM, etc. But the Fenix operations, the menu, the messages that I got down here from Fenix Ops, which were these ones here, they work constantly, whether you're online, whether you're offline, or whether you're just playing around and showcasing a new aircraft like I'm doing today. So they work all of the time. So yeah, you're going to get those. It's the same with the load sheet. So that's how it works. So let's have a look at one of the other things still to have a look at. So the arrival message. So if we are planning on doing a turnaround flight, we can enter in and let the guys know what the next flight number is going to be, what our required fuel is going to be, taxi fuel, trip fuel, etc. I've not done a turnaround flight in this aircraft, so I wonder if when landing that's all sorted. I don't know. We may have to try that. HD asks, does the navigation display ECAM transfer switch work on the switching panel? More than likely. Hang on, let me find it. If anyone wants me to test things, now is a good time to do it or showcase things. Just let me know how you want me to go through the let me know how you want me to go about testing things, and I'll go and do that. So if we set that, there you go. ECAM's on the navigational display on the captain's side or on the first officer's side. So one other thing to introduce, there's the equitime point, the ETP. That's essentially sort of our midway point between our departure and our arrival. So obviously departing Toulouse, arriving Manchester, and obviously that's useful if something's gone wrong and you decide that you either are you going to continue to your destination or are you going to return back to your original departure point. Well, equitime point is always a good rule of thumb. At this point, we're obviously closer to our departure airport. Past that, of course, we'll be closer to Manchester. And as HG's just said, it's perhaps not so much an issue here when we're flying over land, but for example, if we were flying to Madeira, over long stretches of water, always very, very useful. Chris, can I press one of the engine fire push buttons? No. Not at this point. I just wanted to showcase a flight, get us into to Manchester successfully. Matt Flying, any ideas about VR? Unfortunately, I've not been able to test it in VR because the PC I'm using is not strong enough for that. we've got quite stable air today, so wing flex, there, as you can see, there really isn't much. Does the printer work? Sadly not, no. But because you've got independent McDo's, it doesn't really matter, because you can get your weather on one and input it on the other. Can I show the list of failures? Oh wow. Well, there's lists within lists. So I tell you what we could do. Tell you what we could do. I wasn't going to do this, but I think, well, why not? It's exciting, isn't it? Let's go to the config page and have a look. So manual failures, you can choose what you want to fail, basically. So once you go in there, for example, so ice and rain, angle of attack heat. So if those fail and get frozen, etc., you might get readings that aren't the same across from the captain's side and the first officer's side. We've seen that happen in real life, of course. So whether it's the captains, whether it's the standbys, pitot heats, there you go again. Funnily enough, it was the angle of attack failures, I think, that caused, was it an Air New Zealand A320? Very, very sad, during a test flight. Didn't work. And without trying to recall all of the details, basically the aircraft didn't behave as it was meant to, and they ended up sadly crashing. Ronaldo, can I do an RMP approach? We'll be doing stuff like that. Don't you worry. We've got lots of streams and flights planned coming up. So what we could do, give yourself the radio altimeter 2 fault. Well, funnily enough, HD, I was going to say, give us something that we could work with. You know, I don't want to. I don't want an engine fire or anything daft like that. But if a rad alt fails, that's neither here nor there. Having said that, what is the weather in Manchester? I mean, I'm not going to be doing auto land, surely. So if we go to manual failures, where's it going to be? What category is that going to come under? It'd be electrical. There's just so many here, isn't there? APU. They come under navigation. So, pitot blocked. We can get recoverable faults in. Presumably we would have to reset those. Oh, there we go. So if we fail radio altimeter number 2, funnily enough, just before I do that, you can see here we've got ground proximity warnings and things like that. Someone mentioned a bit ago about doing an RNP approach, where obviously you've got to check for high nav accuracy. Well, one of the things that the Fenix aircraft does is, and I don't know how they have done this, but they have got, if we just come down here, I'll use the first officer's McDo. If we come down here, you can see that our current nav accuracy is high. That's estimated, required, etc. But if you're doing an RMP approach, before you can start it, you've got to check that your nav accuracy is high enough to be able to complete the approach. the Phoenix team have somehow entered the position data of the satellites, the GPS satellites that the aircraft use, and areas of the world where occasionally they may either be blocked or the data is not available. So just occasionally you could lose the accuracy of your GPS, as they can do in the real world. Something you need to check. And if that is the case, you may not be able to start your approach. So that's just something else, isn't it? Realism at its best. Right. Okay. Let's fail the rad alt number 2. So if we select that, there we go. It was set to immediate. I could have set that to random, but it's set to immediate, and that's done. Right. We just heard the ding. We've had a master caution light. There we go. Nav rad alt 2 fault. And if we come down here, you can see now we've been downgraded. So because the rad alt number 2 has failed, we're now downgraded, so we can't do Cat 3 landings anymore. We can do Cat 2 only, which means, does anyone know the weather for Manchester? How badly is it raining? What's visibility like? I'm sure it's fine. Let's have a look and see. So the arrival METAR at Manchester. Oh yeah, visibility is fine. Showers of rain temporarily, but it means we're now downgraded to Cat 2. And this is where all of the systems failures that are included in the Phoenix. I mean, that is obviously a very, very minor one, isn't it? Nothing wrong with it. We can continue to our destination, but that would be classed as a minor failure. Of course, if you were flying to a destination now where the weather was absolute pants and visibility was down at like 100 meters, something like that, even or below, 50 meters, 100 meters, then, or feet, sorry, not meters, then you might have to look at diverting, just because we've been downgraded. Same thing happens if your auto thrust fails, you'll be downgraded to Cat 2 as well. So we just need to be aware of that. So if we clear the master caution there, we're aware of it, we've seen it, we can clear that. It clears it off the upper ECAM, but on the systems page it's there just as a healthy reminder that you are Cat 2 only. Also showing you that there's information on the systems page. You can see the little STS box just down there. So there it is. So what will be interesting then, guys, to see if it's all completely fully modelled, because I haven't tested this, is once we do land in Manchester, should we call the mechanics, see if they can fix it? What happens if radar altimeter 1 fails? Well, then we cannot do any auto lands, so we're downgraded Cat 1 only. Radar altimeter is, of course, essential for those auto lands. Chris, can you press the 2 ADR push buttons on the overhead panel and demonstrate alternate law? I think you can. Well, yeah, you will be able to. And of course, HD. Yeah, you're right. We'd lose the auto callouts, wouldn't we? So you're not going to hear the 2,500. 1,500, 50, 40, 30, etc. Things like that. Corey says, are you able to add and remove the CPDL screens? No, I think they're, well, as far as I'm aware, I think they're fixed. Shemar, the weather radar does not work, but that is just a limitation of the sim. That will start to work when That should start to work when the software development kit from Zobo is opened up after sim update 10. I think that is. Mercaton, so the flight dynamics of it are, you know, exactly as you'd expect for fly-by-wire. It does handle a little different to the Neo. One of the things that perhaps you'll discover or feel where it differs to the Neo version is on takeoff. You just need to keep that aft pressure in there just a little bit, and I'll be honest, I don't know if this, I don't think rotate law has been included in this in this release. So for example, when you rotate and you get the flight director's crosshairs aligned, if you've rotated and all's good and you just ease off a little bit, you'll probably feel the nose drop just ever so slightly. So you just need to keep a bit of aft pressure in there to keep that going. That's one of the things I certainly noticed on takeoff. On landing, how do I find it? It's certainly not on rails. It's absolutely not on rails. So I've had to concentrate a little bit more when landing, and you're probably going to see you're going to see the result of that in about an hour's time when we come into Manchester. HD is rotate law, not on a CEO aircraft. Well, that explains that then. Christian, what do you want me to test, mate? Primary flight display, navigation display transfer button. There you go. That looks weird, doesn't it? So obviously if one of the displays fails, you can call it whichever one you want. Primarily this one over here, particularly if the other guy can have that one on. Sean, can I show you all the deliveries in the next stream? Well, bear with me just 1 second. Whilst we're happily in the cruise, let's have a look at these. Let's have a look at these liveries, shall we? So here we go. This is what we've got. There are 181 liveries. You don't want me to show them all, of you, do you? Do you want me to show them all? Look at that Air 2000. Do you remember those days? Retro Air Canada. Oh, it's just seen the cabin swerve a little bit just then. Retro Air France, modern day Air France, Air Jamaica. How many do you want? How many will you use? Nick says just show the British Airways ones. Christian, are the new Condor liveries in there? I don't know. Let's search. Right, so they're the old Condor liveries. They're the ones flown by Thomas Cook as well. Ah, no, the new ones aren't in there just yet. Who knows? Maybe they'll be added in time. Red Star, do they have EasyJet liveries? Of course they do. They have several EasyJet liveries. Olympic, I'm almost certain that Olympic is in there. There you go, Olympic Airways. Andy, is it possible to get the cathode ray tube screens instead of LCDs? No, I don't think so. I think they're just sticking with LCDs. Again, I don't. You have to speak to the devs if they've got anything planned in the future. I wonder what the most obscure livery is here. No Air Greenland. Never mind. I'm sure Flight Sim 2 is going to be all over this. Wizz Air? Oh, I would expect so. Oh, no Wizz Air? Really? That would be surprising, given they're one of the biggest A320 operators around. Yeah, there's Turkish as well. So if Wizz Air's got the AIEs, as we revealed earlier on the stream, they're going to be coming. They'll be coming soon. So, when we were trying to contact ATC during the CDO PLC, the reason that we couldn't do that because we had both McDoos on the Atsu page, both the first officers and the captain's side. So the way it works is that the Atsu computers can only host a single McDoo session. So if both McDoos log on, they're sharing a single session. If you go to the Atsu from the McDoo main page and the second McDoo already has a session, you will just join that session. So if you leave Atsu on both McDoos and you then enter it, you will get to the actual main menu. So during the stream, the second McDoo was still open on a session that was in the AOC menu and not the Atsu menu, so we couldn't get there whilst that McDoo was there. So explanation from the devs as to why that was happening. So thank you to them for that. So our top of descent is marked on as well. Of course, this has working VNAV, very, very good working VNAV, which we'll see in a little while. Christian IRS 1, 2 and 3 fault. No, thank you. Martin, we showcased the TCA setup right at the start. It's very, very easy. Very, very easy. Can I show the sun visor? Absolutely. If we want this one on, we can get rid of the tablet. And then we can just get up and go for a walk. There you go. How's that? Have they got radio frequencies on the EFB? No, or not that I have discovered. I don't think so. Can I show the top of descent on the FMGC? Yeah, let me just have a look. So there's our top of descent, which is in around 18 minutes, actually. So we should probably look at working out how we're going to fly the approach. Just checking. Now that's good. That click spot is disabled while ever that visor's there, so we'll just get rid of that. Put that back. Hey T, can I amend the descent speeds on the descent perf page? I am pretty certain once again that we can, yeah. Oh, actually, that's neat. Look at that. It's actually got that all sorted. So we're 125 miles away from it, and we expect it at 1518. There's our descent. So can we alter those? We can if we wish. So let's have a look how we're going to do the arrival into Manchester. So we're on Dane 2 Alpha, which we're pretty familiar with. So I'll just pin that chart and then the arrival chart. Oh, wrong one. So 2, 3, right. Just pin that one. So if we now go to our clipboard, we should have both the arrival and 2, 3 right in. Okay, so let's just check. We're coming in on Dane to Alpha, which begins at Trent. There we go, so here it is. So Dane to Alpha at Trent, then 5 miles on the 321 radial from Trent, which is just here. Let's close that way. That's just there. And then Dane. So on the Dane to Alpha, we want to be flight level 200 at Elvos. So Elvos is there. Is that at flight level 200? Oh, these aren't actually hard constraints, are they? They're just descent plannings. So flight level 200 at Elvos. We can go in and pop that in. If it's not there, because it's not a hard constraint, we can enter that just to show off the VNav. So we'll insert that. And then just carrying on, and it's flight level 80 by Dane. And that's already coded in, flight level 80 by Dane, 250 knots. Yep, that's fine. How would I fly the approach? Well, normally after Dane, ATC, if they're online, they'll pick you off at Dane and vector you in and around. So this isn't the kind of start that lines you up with the ILS. So we're going to have to vector ourselves in a little bit, and that's obviously fine. So the plan will be, if I just put that into plan mode, let's zoom in a little bit. There we can see a little bit better. So from Dane, I will most likely put us into heading mode at this point. We'll fly the downwind, base, etc. As we leave Dane, I'm going to look to slow down to green dot speed, then left turn, flaps 1, flaps 2 with the glide slope, and platform altitude is 2,500 feet. No, it isn't. It's 3,500 feet. Now have a look at this. Here is the go-around track, and the go-around track is in. Now 750 feet and then manual. Let's have a look at the chart. So there we go. Missed approach altitude is climbed to 3,500 feet, but here's the important bit that's already coded into the box for us. Straight ahead until passing 750 feet or 0 miles ILS DME, or 0.3 miles from the Mike Charlie Tango, whichever's later. We then make a right turn to track 357 and then as directed. So there are some approaches which have quite convoluted missed approaches. This one's pretty straightforward, but if there is missed approaches which say it's that waypoint, that waypoint, that way, the missed approach track is in here. Now HD is mentioned. We can also extend the center line on the downwind. So HD, just put in the steps that you would do that, how you would correctly do that, because I can't remember how we correctly do it. Normally what I would do is I would use the fixers page. I'd use the fixers page, and then from there I would extend the center line. However, that was just because that was the only way we could do it until now. So just give us the real way of doing that, and we'll sort that for you. Everyone's talking about the printer. Yeah, I know. There isn't a printer in this aircraft. Doesn't matter though, we've got independent independent boxes, so we're good. Right, so let's try and extend that centre line, but we'll not insert it, otherwise we'll end up going direct to the centre fix now. So if we go to the direct page, I've got to go down and find that. Centre fix 2, 3, right. And then there should be a course field. Where is that? Or is it the radial in and radial out? Radial out. What is the radial out on this? Oh, don't need that. Radial outbound is... oh, I've got to do mental maths. It's been a long day. I'm not doing mental maths. 232. It's 52. So 052. Now, let me see if I can... there it is, look! There you go. There's the runway centre line extended. Now I'm going to clear that before I hit it by mistake. And sure, welcome to the Captain's Club Show. Thank you so much for the support today. Hope you're enjoying this first preview stream of the Fenix Airbus A320 in Microsoft Flight Simulator. So, cancel the direct to. There we go. I keep wondering what's happening with my graphics, and then I remember I've got the visor down. Should we put that back up? I tell you what, you can see a lot more detail with that visor down, can't you? Put that back. Look at the clouds. It's quite nice. And as we discovered earlier, you block the glare out, so you can read the instruments much easier. Filbert Flies, how you doing, mate? Hope you're well. Shall we just begin again for you? HD, thanks for the help. Hope you like the aircraft as well. I shall speak to you much later, I'm sure. Cheetah, can you see the cabin? Yeah, of course you can. And do you know what? Hang on, I just need to work out how far away is our top of descent, because I don't want to miss that. Okay, I'm not going to hang around too much. And then Simone, I'll show you the filter at the failures menu in a minute. So let's just get up from the seat and show you the cabin. We have to go sideways, I'm afraid. We can't walk forward. There it is. If you prefer nighttime charts, of course, that is also an option in Navigraph. Diffuse asks, how are the frames? They're good. I would say if you can fly the fly-by-wire, you'll be able to fly this without any problems. Willie says, show Philbert how the glare comes down. It's not too bad now because the sun's behind us. But so if you can look at the brightness of the screens, if I just bring the if I bring the visor down, there, right. Check out the brightness of the screens now, so we can see those pretty clearly. And I'm going to now take the visor up and watch how the glare from the outside dims the brightness of the screens. So check this out. See how it changes? It's amazing, isn't it? And Philbert, you didn't think you could walk forward either until about 2 weeks ago when you found a translate view forward setting of the controls. Now you have it assigned to control up. Oh, that's a great tip. I'll have to go ahead and assign that as well. Gable, hi mate, you missed the takeoff. How's the engine sound? Oh, rewind the stream, mate. Go and listen and turn your speakers down because I turned them up full. It was incredible. Oh yeah, we have a working tray table as well. Don't forget that. Here it is. Even the sounds of the tray table. Do you know, let me turn that up. Listen to this. What happens if you open the windows at this altitude? Oh, it's very realistic. You get sucked out. Danny Rubble, hey mate, how you doing? Flightman, how is FPS compared to PMDG? Well, I can't really compare things properly at the moment because this is only a release candidate build, so they're still doing optimizations and things like that. But even now, it's easily comparable with the fly-by-wire. Alan, hi, can you have them doing the browser like you can with the fly-by-wire? You can have the tablet in a browser. I don't believe the McDo's available in a browser, but again, and I'll keep trying to insist and let you guys know. And the devs, once this aircraft is released, it doesn't stop there. That's just the start of the journey. Once this aircraft becomes released, there are so many things that these guys want to do. And again, this is just a release candidate. This isn't the final aircraft that you're seeing today. Although, let's be honest, it's pretty amazing, right? So our top of descent is coming up. In fact, it's very close. We're going to get down to flight level. We've got an ATC message. Expect descent at Hemel. And here it is. There's Hemel. Phoenix Control is doing a great job today on the Hoppy's ACAR system. So there it is. That's our top of descent coming up at Hemel. We'll roger that. Send that off. Big shout out to those guys as well. Okay, so I'm going to go and set our first and our first constraint is flight level 200. Now watch this. So I'm going to pop it into manage descent. So there it goes. There's a little green yo-yo showing our VNAV. Now the aircraft knows that we want to be at flight level 200 at Elvos. Okay, we that's part of the charts, and we've put that in to make sure it's there as well. So because I have set flight level 200, let me zoom out, find it. Look at that. It's not just going to descend you and then hold you at flight level 200. It is going to get you at flight level 200 and level off. It's telling you this aircraft is now aiming its profile on you being at Elvos at flight level 200. That's what you've got in the FCU. That's what you've got in the guidance computer. So it just does it for you. Obviously, if you were in open descent, then you would choose your own rate of descent based on your speed. But in managed descent, if the altitude you enter in the FCU matches up with the altitude you're expected to be at by a certain waypoint here, it's going to target that. It's going to target that waypoint for that altitude. I need to enter some arrival data, don't I? Oh, I didn't actually put the code in there, did I? Did I put the code in? Try again. Check those messages in a little bit. Can you turn on the terrain on the navigation display? You can indeed. We'll get that on actually, coming in over the Pennines. Set auto brake low. Just need that weather information to come through, and then I can fill out the performance page. I mean, I've done this a little bit late. I'm too busy talking. But if in doubt, we can grab it from here. So wind is 1904. Notice the wind field was already filled in because they were the winds that you downloaded a couple of hours ago. So change those because they've updated now according to the METAR. QNH is 1012. Temperature in Manchester is 21. Flight level transition is 5,000, and the Barrow, now this is going to be interesting because we've had a rad-alt failure. Visibility, according to the METAR, is going to be Cat 1, so that's okay. Had it been any lower, then we couldn't have gone down to Cat 3 minimums due to the rad-alt failure. So 449, because it's still above Cat 1 minimums. There we go. That's all filled out. So landing speed should be 133. So if you're just joining us now, we're on our descent into Manchester for our first landing here in the Phoenix. Have you guys enjoyed the stream so far? Once we've landed in Manchester, then I am going to be taking a break, and then I shall be back at 1900 Zulu hours. I will do a real ops flight on VATSIM and see how that goes. So we'll follow all our full procedures. We'll have a time that we need to depart by. Someone, is it possible to disconnect the battery charger of the EFB? I think it is. Yes, there you go. Now, I've done that. I can't remember how you charge it. I can't remember how you put it back. Is it... oh, there it is. It's the same click spot. Yeah, so you can charge and discharge. Do you know what? I'm fully charged. I'll leave it. Klaus, how would you install liveries? So when you get it, it automatically comes with the Fenix livery manager. You can get these. Oh, change the resolution there. Who was asking about Wiz? Was that available in the different resolutions? No, just because of the different engines. Clear that off. But there are 181 liveries available, and I've downloaded one for obvious reasons. So here we go, look, we're coming up now. Elvos and our flight level. Once we pass Elvos, then what we're going to do is let's say ATC have told us we can continue our descent. We're going to get to flight level 80. Flight level 80 by Dane. So we've got a constraint in there. That constraint is at Elvos. So that constraint, however, was one that we added in. So we can actually now go in and change that. So let me just go in, clear that constraint out. I could obviously have just put that into open descent, but now in order to be at Dane, it says, well, now you're not going to make it if we stay on our current profile, so it wants us to it's just trying to catch up with that profile there. Look at that, the level off meets it exactly where the green yo-yo is. Speed increased ever so slightly, and you've got the speed gates showing you them as well. So frame rates are actually holding up really, really well. Bear in mind that the simulator has been running now for about 4 hours. So I think that's amazing. Now, is that East Midlands Airport down there? I was just trying to work out if that was the M1. Yep. Echo Golf November X-ray. I have rolling cash turned on. Chubby mate, how you doing? Long time no see. Hope you're well. Can I extend the rat? Not today. I want things to go normally for the first flight. So let's get our seatbelts on. So we've got a ran out failure. Ran out 2 is currently failed. We failed that manually just to just to see how well it worked, and of course it did. All the correct ECAM memos were displayed. I said on the ground we were going to call a mechanic, because it has a built-in mechanic on call, to see if he could come fix that. However, the devs have just informed me that the mechanics in the maintenance menu will only be available for failures that are set and come from random failures. So they're not going to interact with any manual ones. Basically, we broke it, we fix it. We can unfail those though, as well. So once we get past 10,000 feet, we're going to start slowing down to 250 knots. There's the speed change icon, little magenta circle. That's coming up. Renzo, does it have wing views? I don't think it has them by default, but they are very easy to set up, so we do have them. And to be fair, the devs may set these up anyway. As I say, this is only a release candidate build, it is not the final build. Adrian, does VR2 work as well with auto-tuning? Yes, it does. Jean-Luc, is the side stick priority button available? I think yes. I seem to recall it has been modelled, but I've not got it set. So I'm not quite sure how you'd set that up in the bindings. Right, here we go. So we're descending flight level 80. We're getting close to our target speed of 250 knots. We're going to hit 250 knots actually prior to flight level 100 because of the speed constraint shown here. That's why we had the speed constraint obviously shown. It already knows about that. It's thought about that. It's calculated what our profile needs to be. We're slowing down now 250 knots. So what I'm going to do now is, once we get to about 10,000 feet, I'm going to pull for selected speed. I'm going to activate the approach phase. And then extending the runway center line is something new that we can do in this aircraft. We've not been able to do it before. And Rico87, thank you so much for your €9.99 donation. Really, really kind of you. Hope you're enjoying the preview flight, Rico, and thank you for the support. Hopefully, you'll be back with us tonight as well as we do a Real Op Flights live on VATSIM. That's at around 1900 hours. We'll be doing that. Hopefully, we'll have some. We'll fly somewhere with some good VATSIM ATC as well. Renzo, you think the wipers work too? Yep, they do. Right, coming up on 10,000 feet, so I don't forget. Let's get the landing lights out. And what I'll do is we're coming into land as well. I'll stop talking. I'll concentrate on flying. I'll turn the sounds up. And you guys can just enjoy. Brit FG, can I do a go around to show you how it works? We'll be doing tutorial videos and things like that with those, so don't worry too much about that. Okay, so I'm going to select 250 knots, and I'm going to activate the approach phase. That's done. After Dane, we're going to fly a bit of a downwind leg. India November, November is identified. And I'm now going to set platform altitude, which is 3,500 feet. We'll set the local QNH as well, which I've forgotten and I haven't written down. What was it? 1012. Okay, so let's pop that into heading mode. We'll spring around. Nav barrel discrepancy again. I need to set those so they're linked. Okay, so we're going to start slowing the aircraft down as well now. Pop that into green dot. Just leave that in open descent for the time being. Thrust idle open descent 3,500. Spring around a little bit. Aircraft slowing down. When we start to meet the glide, we'll turn base. Anyone that knows this area of the world, we're coming in over the Pennines. Anybody that regularly drives over the Woodhead Pass, you'll see an aircraft do this countless times. Cargo Broom, I can't show you a replay version using the built-in Microsoft Flight because it's not worked since the last sim update, I'm afraid. So the glide slope will start to meet us any minute. Here it comes. So let's start configuring our aircraft. So we'll go flaps 1, 15 miles, speed's checked. Let's start the base turn. We don't need to slow all the way down to 180 knots, we'll hold it 200 for the time being. So 1,000 feet per minute.
2,500.
Radar altimeter is alive. Here comes that glide slope. Again, just arresting that rate of descent, so not a perfect CDA, but never mind. 15 miles out. These would normally be vectors. ATC would be telling me what headings to fly, etc. for this approach. We've also got some traffic. We can see TCAS. We may fly through some virtual traffic if they're in our way, but never mind. Okay, we'll just bring around to the left a little bit so we've got a nicer intercept angle along the approach. 15 miles out. And lock star. Christian, are you reminding me to pop on the seatbelt signs? These ones. So, as the glide slope starts to meet us, let's reduce our speed 180 knots and we'll pull flaps 2. Just wait for that speed to bleed off a little bit. There we go, flaps 2, speed's checked. 12 mile final, and I can see the airport just. MSFS GT, the performance is at the moment akin to the fly-by-wire, but they haven't done yet. Oh, we've got traffic, TCAS traffic. Let me quickly just turn off live traffic, otherwise we're going to have an issue. There we go.
Clear of conflict.
Clear of conflict. Let's reactivate our approach. There we go. Glide slope, start, lock. There we are. Shouldn't get that if we're on VATSIM. Right, we're going to start slowing our aircraft down. I'm going to bring them for a landing. I am going to stop talking. I'm going to concentrate on the landing. I'm going to turn the volume up so you guys can listen to everything as we touch down. Hope you've enjoyed the flight. I shall see you after we've landed.
1000. $500. $100 above. Minimum.
Flight slope. Flight
100.
slope. Flight slope.
50, 40, 30, 20, retard. 5.
Welcome to Manchester, guys. How was that for you? She's gorgeous, isn't she? What an aircraft. I will test the rain wipers as well before we go. And then I've just realised I need some dinner. So let me just pull her up, and then we'll test all that out. So obviously after landing, lights off. Didn't get the tax lights on, never mind. Start that APU. Turn the various radars off so that we don't fry the ground crew. I do love the flap animation on this as well. I think it's so neatly done, and I love how messy the flaps are. You can see all the oil stage coming through as well. Right, I'm going to turn the rain on, and then we'll have a look at the wipers, shall we? So, 1 second. Okay, rain. All right, guys. That's what so many of you have been waiting to see, the rain textures. Should we turn the first officers on as well? There we go. And I think we do have another level. That's for super fast rain. Who's now thinking of the old EasyJet series in the cockpit, or whatever it was called, with the EasyJet captain saying, "I think I've broke the wiper." And before I go then, shall I just set things to night time? Hang on, let's fast forward. So you guys can see the cockpit at night. We've obviously got the dome light as well. Here we go. So that's our full dome light turned on. All the other lightings are turned up to full already. But now let's just have a look at a nice dark flight deck for landing. There you go. That's what we would be. That was what it would look like at night time coming in. How neat is this? Well, guys, I think for our first stream in the Phoenix, the introduction, I hope I've been able to answer as many questions as I can. The chat's been going crazy. I do apologise if I've not been able to catch every single question that you guys have asked, but not to fret. We're going to be back tonight. We're going to be back, but with a live real ops flight tonight at around 1900 Zulu time. And yeah, hopefully we'll have some VATSIM ATC as well. Full real ops flight, start to finish. We'll see how she handles under the pressure of a real ops flight, and how I'll handle under the pressure with VATSIM as well in this new aircraft. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you've had a great afternoon. Thank you to the Phoenix devs as well for allowing me to showcase this pre-release build. A reminder, this is a release candidate. It is not the final release, so there are still some minor tweaks that want adding to the aircraft prior to its release. I don't know when the final release is planned for, but I'm sure if you keep an eye on the Phoenix Discord server in their announcements channel, they will let you know as soon as they do. Thank you so much, guys. I'm going to turn the set the day back to live time and back to live weather. There we are. Wonderful. The first of many flights in the new Fenix A320 from Fenix Simulations. I look forward to seeing some of you again tonight. Thank you for watching. Please hit that like button on the way out. And yeah, what a great time to enjoy flight simulation. This is going to be so much fun flying this aircraft in Microsoft Flight Simulator, and I know that you're all going to love it just as much as I do. We will have tutorial videos. We'll have many more live streams planned this week, so make sure that if you are a subscriber, you turn on that notifications bell so you don't miss any future content that's coming up this week as well. Thanks very much, guys. I look forward to seeing you all again very soon. See you at 1900 hours Zulu time. Goodbye, everyone.